hubs, IT hubs. So the point is, it always goes together. If you have institutes, more companies get benefited. If there are more companies and organizations, more institutes also will come up. The moment a student is taking admission, potentially he is someone who can be placed in certain organization. He will meet certain HR requirements of some organization. So our relationship is kind of symbiotic. It has to go together. So the point of this HR conclave is to hear from the best HR luminaries from across the country, to hear from eminent HR personalities of Guwahati and Greater Assam on what is the trend, how do they see the future, so that maybe we can imbibe a few of these ideas back in the classroom. If we can solve few problems in the classroom, I believe it will help to solve a few problems of the recruits that you're hiring in your potential companies. So this is a relationship that I think should always be about communication. We need to talk to the different HR heads who represent the recruitment of companies. As organizations, as education organizations, we need to understand, but also there are certain challenges that all of us face. Today the challenge that we are trying to talk about is what is coming, that is the Gen Z. It's a word that is very aspirational, very intriguing and very interesting. So let us hear today what you think about what the future is of Gen Z hiring, and perhaps we can all take a little bit of learning from today's events. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much. Looking forward to a day filled with sharing of ideas, sharing of thoughts, and a great day of learning. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring words. May I now request our Honorable VC, sir, to share his valuable insights and thought on this prestigious event.
Namaskar and good morning. Esteemed Chancellor of Assam Downtown University and our invited respected guest persons, but a resource person actually, who will be sitting in a short while from now in the dais. Respected members of Trustees Downtown Charity Trust and all those HR personnel from different institutions located in Guwahati, my colleagues, academic leaders, deans, and administrative staff who support academics in the university. I also see some young students, friends here. Basically, which this conclave is, the outcome of this conclave depends how they get absorbed in jobs or how they build their future career. These organizations in diverse domain of commerce, management, industrial, IT activities, I treat them as a sink for the graduates or graduates we produce in the universities. We are producers of human resource. I have been in academics for almost last 35, 36 years. But what is happening is the human resource we produce, the sink, different organization I mentioned, they find that most of them are not employable. And if we look at the education scenario today in the country, before NEP was implemented, National Education Policy in 2020, prior to that, we started producing huge number of graduates. Because it's the aspiration of the young people, you have to provide them space for education. And last 2 decades, this institution numbers even have gone up, and gross enrollment ratio in the country for higher education is currently 27%, which was only 9% in 1991. Means out of every 100 students of age group 18 to 23, could afford university education in 1991, 9 out of 100, and today 27%. And this has been possible only because today we have 1,000 plus universities in the country. And this we have to do because it is a young population, 30 to 40% of our population is young, below the age of 25. So we are now then producing much more graduates. The quantity is there, and this institution building also continues. I just wanted to, I think many of you know, how these institutions, more number of institutions are connected to the prosperity. I think most of you know, this year Nobel Prize has gone to 3 academician, researcher, who has established the relation between prosperity and institutions across the entire globe, different countries. For 9th century, they did, for what happened, the institution building across different countries of this globe, they did a research and they found those countries which have large number of institutions, they have prospered. Why African countries remain behind? Prosperity is less, only because they have less number of institutions. Now it is good that we are opening more universities, both in private and public sector. We are producing more graduates. The concern has come that the graduates that come out, most of them are not employable. Jobs are there in organizations. When interviews are held, they are not found suitable. Now I mentioned NEP 2020, what it has aimed for, holistic education. The coming away from the routine classroom knowledge, you have to have knowledge in diverse fields and you come out as a holistic graduate. So that is what, and one major emphasis is on industry, corporate or academia interface. During their study in a university, the students must get exposure to what really happens inside a corporate house, what really happens inside an industry, so that before they become eligible for job, they really know nitty-gritty of what happens. So they're connected to real life situation. That is what one major emphasis of NEP 2020, and all across the country, this effort is going on, and this conclave, I believe, is in the line of those our faculties are here. Now faculties have a very important role, unless they understand what happens in the corporate sector, in industry. So I would like to think that our faculty, the academic leaders of Assam Downtown University has a lot to take away from this conclave outcome, so that they can also tune or mold their pedagogy, their lesson plans. That is what is extremely important. I don't want to take much of your time. I should express my heartfelt gratitude to all those resource persons for sparing their valuable time. And I am sure this conclave deliberation is going to bring benefit to all concerned. With these words, I wish a grand success on the deliberations of this HR conclave. This is the 4th person. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. It was a privilege to hear from such a visionary leader who has been a guiding light for the Assam Downtown University. Today, as we embark on the prestigious event, our first panel discussion centers around redefining Gen Z's recruitment, their mental health, well-being, unpacking their work preferences and bridging expectation gaps, aligning corporate values with Gen Z's expectations. Without much delay, may I now take the privilege to introduce our first panel speaker, Meghali Kumar Ma'am, Group HR Resource Amul Purobi Diary. Meghali ma'am is a HR professional with over a decade of diverse experience across recruitment, operations, and employee relations in industry such as hospitality and engineering. Currently serving as the group head of human resource at Purobi Dairy. Ma'am have a strong background in HR strategy, leadership, and organizational development. She is skilled in fostering workplace harmony, implementing HSE policies, and coordinating with stakeholders to ensure seamless operation. May I now request respected madam to kindly take her seat. With a big round of applause, may I now request ma'am to come on here stage. Thank you, ma'am.
Now I would like to take the privilege to introduce our distinguished moderator, Vishal Sharma sir, who has been an integral part of Lenskart.com for the past 3 years, where he has served as a lead for resourcing and acquisition, a passionate early career recruiter. Vishal sir specializes in introducing and nurturing young talent to drive organizational success. In 2024, Vishal sir has been honored with the collaborative Catalyst Award at Lenskart Global People Summit. Recognizing his exceptional teamwork and impactful contributions, back joining Lenskart, Vishal sir built a strong foundation in the hospitality sector, working with remarked brands like the Leela Group, where he has been honored with his expertise in talent acquisition and people management. Vishal sir's diverse experience across industries position him as a dynamic professional committed to building high-performance team and fostering a collaborative work culture. With great privilege, I would like to extend my warmest welcome to Mr. Vishal Sharma sir. Please come on the stage and grace our stage and take his respective seats.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor to introduce our next esteemed panel speaker, Mr. Paras Thakur. He is currently working as the technical solution specialist in Google. Paras Thakur is a dynamic professional working with global leaders like Amazon and Google. Paras excels in diversifying robust cloud solution, driving critical migration, and solving high-impact technical issues for clients worldwide. With a strong passion for mentoring and knowledge sharing, Paras has made a significant stride as an educator and a content creator. He has a YouTube channel with 40K subscribers and 1.5 million views, offering valuable insights into navigating the tech landscape. Paras is also a podcaster, engaging with experts and freshers alike to explore evolving trends in technology and design. Recognized as a reliable team player, Paras has received accolades from peers and managers for his unwavering dedications and collaborative spirit. Please join me in extending a warm welcome to Mr. Paras Thakur. Please take your respective seats, sir. Thank you for being here.
Next, we have another exceptional guest speaker with nearly 2 decades of comprehensive experience in human resource and operations, Mr. Ravi Shankar Singh. He is currently working as a head HR Retail Lifestyle International Private Limited, Landmark Group. Ravi Shankar Singh is a dynamic leader with a proven track record in driving business success through HR strategies. Recognizing his leadership, communication, and team building skills, Ravi sir continues to drive impactful HR strategies while fostering a culture of excellence and innovation across diverse industries. Now I request Mr. Ravi Shankar Singh to kindly take his respective seat.
Thank you, sir. Next, we have another exceptional guest speaker, Ruti ma'am, a seasoned professional with 19 years of experience in banking and financial sector. Currently serving as the center head for virtual relationship channel at ICICI Bank, Guwahati. Ma'am has been instrumental in setting up the center and driving its growth through customer acquisition, retention strategies, and digital positions. In her previous role at ICICI Bank, she spearheaded unsecured loans, expansion in Northeast, served as a zonal training manager, and had a pivotal position in marketing and product management. She is known for her ability to balance operational efficiency with business growth, managing large teams, enhancing client relationships, and fostering stakeholders' engagement in evolving banking landscape. May I now request respected Madam to kindly take her seat.
Now let us invite our special guest, Mr. Raj Venkateppa, Senior Director, Ethics and Compliance at Flipkart. With a career that spans multiple industries like banking, manufacturing to pharma, brewing and now e-commerce, Raj sir has built a strong reputation in ethics, risk management and compliance. As a Senior Director at Flipkart, he at the forefront of navigating the complexities of modern business ethics in one of India's leading e-commerce giant. Raj sir combined his expertise in business strategies with a passion for fostering transparency and integrity in corporate. May I now request Mr. Raj Venkateppa to kindly take his respective seat.
Thank you, sir. The moment we all have been waiting for here is finally here. It's time to dive the depth, knowledge of, and wisdom as we start our early anticipated panel discussion. Ladies and gentlemen, let the dialogue on redefining Gen Z's recruitment, their mental health and well-being, unpacking their work preferences and bridging expectation gaps, aligning corporate values with Gen Z's begin. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, guys? Mic number 7. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, thank you so much, Assam Downtown University, for having this HR conclave, with this theme of redefining Gen Z's recruitment. Gen Z's, is someone who is now challenging, workplaces actually. They have different mindsets, they have different expectations with the departments. So, let's discuss this, the internal dynamics of how we can retain and recruit Gen Z's. Going ahead, I would like to, thank all the panelists who are present here. They will definitely guide us with their experience that how we can make it better. Going forward, with the, very basic question it is an open question for all the panelists because, I think everyone has different perception. They have different department experiences. So how would you describe Gen Z's at workplace? This would be my first question, sir. Anyone?
They are dynamic and at the same time very emotional, right? So, and also Gen Zs have, this emotion called depression. बहुत जल्दी depression हो जाता है लोगों को, ठीक है? So, what I learned is I have worked in hospitality for years. So, कुछ भी you give them a work, prolonged hours, they get depressed. You scold them, they get depressed. Okay. But depression is a prolonged term. They don't understand. It is a big word, actually. So I believe Gen Zs are now, more into looking for flexi in work. They love flexible timings. They love open communication. They love open and clear communications. They love continuous feedback. So Gen Zs, I feel they are very much extrovert and very much talented. Only thing is we need to shape them in the right way.
That's good to hear. Yes.
Good morning, everyone. First of all, thanks to Assam Downtown University for having all of us here. We are privileged to be part of this group today. So, if I talk about Gen Z, and my colleague has just touched upon some of the things, the first thing which comes to my mind when I talk about Gen Z is they will talk a lot about mental health. I can recollect one of the conversation I was having in my current role with one of my colleague who happens to be a Gen Z. You know, his first reaction, I have asked, is everything okay with you? His first reaction was, I am going through a bad mental health week. This week had been a bad mental health week for me. And then my next question was, what has happened? Can you elaborate? And then he looked at me and then said, no, maybe, and then don't guess my age, but that's the comment I got from him. Maybe at your age you may not be able to relate to what I'm going through. That was the first reaction. So they are outspoken, they are extrovert, they are carefree, okay, and they want to achieve everything in life at a blink of an eye. They want everything to happen overnight. Gone are the days when people were working for an organization like any organization, when people work for 15, 20 years, 10 years, and we have many people, in our family, etc., where they have kind of completed their entire career, started and completed their career at one organization, hired to retire. But Gen Z, if you ask them, what's your goal for next 3 years, their answer would be, let me first think of next 6 or 9 months. So that's Gen Z for me. Thank you.
I can go next. How many from Gen Z here? Oh, the entire last row is Gen Z. Okay. Do you resonate with what the leader said? Yes. So are you all mentally challenged? Jokes apart. Okay, my experience with working with Gen Z is completely different. Okay, I find them very passionate. And one thing I like about Gen Z is they challenge the status quo. I remember in the early stage of my career, I used to think 10 times before I had to suggest an idea to my manager. But now Gen Z, they just walk up to me and they say, this is what we need to do, this is the best way to approach. So kudos to you, Gen Z, because you're bold, you're daring, you challenge the status quo, and I really feel that, we are heading in the right direction. But one thing is you need to slow down a little, because expectation is one thing and reality is the other. If you want growth is always not vertical. It is also horizontal. So don't start off thinking that this is the career I want to get into, this is the kind of money I want to make. Be open-minded like you are, okay, and understand that career growth is progressive and not rapid.
So first of all, very good morning to everyone here, and thank you to the organizing committee for this invite, and also appreciate the fact that people from across the industries have been invited, so we can have views from across industries. So kudos on that also. So Vishal, thank you for the question. So I come from the banking industry, right? So and I've been handling big teams for the last almost 8-10 years. So now I handle a team of about 500. And the constitution of that 500 is, 70% are Gen Zers. So whatever the other panelists have said obviously holds true, but I think a few points which I would like to highlight is, that Gen Zers are the first set of generation which have been born with the internet. So when the internet was introduced, that was the time that this generation started. So obviously they are very, very digitally savvy. And with the advancement of technology at our fingertips, everything's moving so fast. So I think they've been influenced with the environment that they've grown. So obviously the expectation from them also has been at that speed, right? So for generations like us, Gen X, Gen Y, who have sort of tried to adapt with the advancing technology, for them it has been, since they've grown up. So obviously they're very technologically savvy, which helps in work because they pick up things very fast, right? So in the banking, obviously we work with a lot of technology. So typically when a person thinks of banking, it is like, a brick and mortar, customers there in front of you and you're servicing. But at the backdrop, there's a huge network which is happening. There's a huge IT team. There's a data analytics team and, a lot of functions behind the banking setup that typically you see in front of you. So that's where a lot of Gen Zers, there's a huge team which forms the data analytics team. So a lot of data churning happens where you all can fit in. And obviously they are very huge population. I think 25% of the world population, more than 8 billion, right? So which accounts to about 2 billion is Gen Z. So obviously in few years, Gen Zers are going to be the working population for the world, right? So huge economic population as such. Third, obviously, is, they are very retirement conscious. So for me or, for any of the colleagues here, we would have started saving for a retirement much later in life. Today, I see that, a 25-year-old have started an SIP, is opening a demat account, is doing trading. So they're very retirement conscious and they've started that journey right at the beginning, which probably the previous generations have never done. So I think a lot of good things are happening, and obviously the other aspects are there, but I think I'll stop here for now. Yeah.
Thank you so much so thank you so much everyone for answering it, really well. So coming to Ravi sir's point, everyone, in Gen Z we generally feel that, they are more stressed out in terms of, while working with corporates or anything. So, my, question is, because everyone wants to be, on a 10x thinking now. Everyone wants to do more and be more wala culture. So how can, with this do more and be more and 10x thinking kind of thing, stress comes with it, right? So how a Gen Z or a corporate can incorporate better so that they can, release the stress, because ultimately we have stretch targets now. Everywhere, if you see, in every corporate, we have stretch targets. We want to have Gen Zs on board, but it's just that Gen Zs, I think, are not accepting the fact that, we have to work harder if you want to do 10x. So what are your takes on this?
Great question, Vishal. So the first and foremost thing what comes to my mind is the organizations need to evolve. Times have changed. As I have already spoken about the legacy organization or from a hire to retirement culture. So the times have changed. So all the organizations who are looking forward to have a Gen Z for a longer duration or to hire more and more Gen Zs, and as my colleague has already spoken that approximately 20-25% are employable and it will further increase in the times to come. So organizations will have to evolve, and when I say evolve, they will have to evolve, they will have to bring evolvement in their culture. They will have to bring evolvement in their overall ecosystem. It's not about what you are going to offer to them. Offering is one part, compensation and benefit is one part. But when they are at workplace, what is the kind of environment, what is the kind of ecosystem as an organization you are going to create for this group? Then obviously that becomes the game changer. Talking about the Gen Zs, two words which comes to my mind is they are bold and they are disruptive. And if somebody is disruptive, initially if you ask me some few years back, disruption was considered to be a negative word. But nowadays, if somebody is disruptive for a right reason, there is no harm in being disruptive. So they come with a lot of ideas, they come with a lot of new thoughts, and they want to do more and more and more and achieve 5x, 10x within no time. So what is the kind of platform we are providing to them when they are at workplace? What is the support system we are building for them? Expectation is one part of it, that okay, you have been hired now you start delivering. But how you are hand-holding them, how you are creating a training, mentoring plan for them. So that everything kind of boils down to the culture of the organization. As an organization, you need to ask this question to yourself, am I future ready to have Gen Zs at my center, at my organization? Am I having a very robust hiring and then onboarding and mentoring plan for a Gen Z, where they are not only learning the role or the expectation of the role, because a Gen Z, whosoever is being hired, he or she will come with some experience or obviously will come from good colleges, schools, and will have some bit of background on the subject. But are you giving him or her a platform where he or she gets acclimatized to the culture and then he or she feels himself associated with the brand. Because as a at current date, if you ask me, the biggest challenge what we face is people are not associated with the brand. If you remember some of the big brands like Tata, Birla, Reliance, etc., people used to have that tag on their chest very proudly. But Gen Zs don't fall into that bucket. But as an organization, if I'm able to bring that culture, if I'm able to inculcate that culture in their DNAs within short span of time, I think we will kind of have a right, we'll move in a right direction.
Thank you so much, sir. My question is specifically for Gen Zs who are sitting out there. So, and my question is specific to Paras actually. Paras, Google is something everyone dreams of at the time of campus, at the time of wherever they have a goal that I want to work with Google once. So, you as a spokesperson from Google, how Google sees a Gen Z in their ecosystem?
Hello everyone. The few discussion happened around the Gen Z till now. Like I have a different perspective. I just want to represent them. Okay. So like I feel that I don't know about the HR how it functions in the back end, but I feel their ideas is really good. I feel like companies like Google, they really like the way the Gen Z functions. And if you have any thoughts, like person comes with new ideas and thought, and if person has good backing of the data, like I can prove it, whatever I'm telling you, this is going to be like that. And Google is something really looking forward to people like that, because if you don't have a mindset of building something, coming with a lot of ideas, you may fail a lot of time, but that's how you build things. Google failed a lot of things, in the past and even now. But that's how they build the culture where they promote people who comes with the idea and everything. I can give you a very good example of Zomato. Their marketing and HR team, all Gen Z. Yeah. And you can see in their advertisement, their notifications, everything. So current market scenario, if you want to grow your organization, and if you want to relate with Gen Z, you have to hire Gen Zs. So that's a very good thing about Gen Z.
Because Gen Z is the future, you can say.
Yeah. Why people feel that? Because they cannot relate with them, like their ideas and their thoughts. I don't want to do this. So we have to, and they are very super fast about things. They don't want to stay with organization for 10 years and they don't want to go for that growth. They want 2 years, I am here, I can do whatever I can do, and then I will leave from here. So, yeah, that's a good thing, I would say.
Thank you so much, Paras. You recently quoted that they are just thinking that 2 years I'll do this. Transition is a trend now. We all can agree that, everyone do not want, previously if you see our fatherly generation, where everyone wants to stick to, one organization and serve them for years. If you can take my example, my father is working with the bank and he's been associated since 25 years and he's about to, get retired. But ultimately the bank spirit and, the company spirit is with him. So, if this transition is the trend, so what kind of work preference these Gen Zs are, actually required to be into the one organization? What do you think, sir?
So, from a work preference standpoint, obviously, you'll have to kind of break it down. Which organization or the organization falls in which segment. Paras just talked about Zomato. We have similar example like Swiggy. We have a lot of fast-moving organization. My colleague is sitting here from Flipkart. So you'll have to kind of first bucketize it, which kind of organization you are. And then it's not about the preference, what we are going to offer as an organization, but what is the preference they are having, which organization they want to work for. Because as we spoke, as we have been hearing in last 10-15 minutes, that they want to achieve a lot of things within no time. So what kind of role we are going to offer them. Because Gen Zs are not, they are not from a traditional school or college where they will only settle for, say, an MBA HR. They can parallelly, and they are parallelly doing 2-3 courses. Somebody is doing MBA HR, and parallelly you would know that he or she is also enrolled in some other professional course or some other certification course from a good college or school. So they are very dynamic. So basis their requirement, basis their expectation, organizations will have to kind of change. Organizations will have to offer certain things to them, certain offerings to them, so that they fit into your bill. So organizations will have to be more fluid, more dynamic, more open, and more flexible when it comes to the offering to the Gen Zs. Because last thing what comes to my mind is one size fits all will not work in current scenario with Gen Z, and hence the organization will have to be flexible enough in terms of offering.
Vishal, I'd like to come in here. I think rightly pointed out by Ravi in terms of, one, segmenting the industry, obviously the fast-moving industries, the IT setups, and, the Swiggies and Zomatos on one side, where a lot of innovations, a lot of, exposure in terms to the Gen Z population. But I think for traditional organizations like us, the banking sector, the financial sector, while to the Gen Z it might look like, my father or my grandparents kind of generation where they typically work, but having said that, I think there is a lot of work which these sectors are also doing. So from banking, we have the NBFCs and the fintech companies also, I think, which is a new age industry which we would have never imagined that, something like a fintech can also come up, where I think a lot of this Gen Z population has been absorbed. And one more instance which I would like to point out from my organization's standpoint, since I represent ICICI, is we have a good population who are of this age band, the Gen Zers that we're talking about. So we do a lot of internal programs, like a lot of already been said about, how they are very ambitious, how they don't like to do a, certain kind of work for more than a certain period of time. They're looking for change, they're looking for, upskill, moving around. So we do a lot of these programs. So we have the Star PO program within the organization where we give, opportunities to the obviously the starting people who are ambitious, who perform, and then they can fast track the organization. Typically, a promotion cycle is something like 2 to 3 years. So we fast track them and give them a 1-year kind of fast track where they go for a classroom training plus an on-the-job kind of training. Second, we have the YLP program, which is from the second level, where they can fast track their career from typically a 5 to 6 years to a 1 year. So a lot of these internal innovations for a traditional setup like ours also are also already doing a lot of activities. We do a lot of fun-related programs, but because obviously Gen Zers are a set of population who are not looking at a work kind of environment. They look for fun in work also. So we do a lot of fun activities within the organization, not on a very big scale, but maybe a color kind of day where everybody is color coordinated on a particular day, or activities within the organization, a sports kind of organization. So a lot of these which can keep them invested, which can keep them looking forward to coming to office every day. That is on the fun side. And another side which we do is we do a lot of upskilling, reskilling, online courses, right? So these are some things which we do also. So for people to be able to find meaning and to stay longer in the organization. So I think organizations are also evolving along with the population that's coming into it. Yeah.
So you want to answer something?
Vishal, sorry, you want to? Okay, thank you. So I would also want to highlight few points since I am working currently in a cooperative sector. So, there is nothing like we are finding the pros and cons of Gen Zs here. All kind of Gen Zers are also welcome. So they have different ideas, they are passionate, yes. And organizations have to change the values, their culture as per the Gen Zs. And not every organization is similar. Like Paras spoke about Google, Swiggy, they can offer maybe flexible shifts, but few organizations, we cannot afford to offer work from home shifts, okay? But there are many alternate ways by which we can engage and we can make a happy place for the Gen Zs to work. Like for us now, we have something called the Library Week, okay, wherein, because the Gen Zs are more into social media, they're very much attached to the real life than the real life. So we have something called a Library Week where, we asked a nomination from every department to at least read a book and tell us what is the content of the book. So that way they get time in reading, they indulge themselves in learning, and Gen Zs do not just, they do not just stick to their phones. So that small activities also matters a lot. That's what I want to add.
Thank you so much. Sir, you.
I just have a different perspective. I call myself a pseudo Gen Z because this is my 8th organization in 24 years, right? So switching organizations is not a big deal. You should be very happy with what you're doing. If you're happy with your job, if you're finding fulfillment in the job, if you're getting recognized in your job, and if you're able to bring in your values and perspectives, be there. But if you feel that you can carry that legacy to a different organization where you can create a bigger impact in a bigger role and have a larger influence, do not refrain yourself from moving to another organization. Okay? I understand that in traditional setup, it is very important to have a very long career span. Like for instance, when I was interviewed in Novartis, I had 8 rounds of interview, and every person who interviewed me had 25 years of experience in Novartis. And everyone was looking at me and saying, hey, you know what, you only have 3 years in every company. But then I said that you're looking for a particular skill set, and I bring that skill set. And if you want me, you can recruit me. So be bold, it's okay if you're moving one company to another. As long as you're happy, you're able to create value, and you're able to do well for yourself, go ahead and do it. I'm sorry, I had a completely different take on that.
No worries, sir. That is why we are here. So, coming back to the topic of recruitment and retention, we have seen that, different marketing campaigns have, really, just, invited Gen Zs to be a part of these organizations. But, there are two different aspects. First is the biggest challenge that every Gen Z is now, into the entrepreneurship, skill set. And they want to be entrepreneurs, future leaders. They want to earn in crores, and they always, dreams of, building a unicorn business. Other than that, there are one big challenge is, sometimes we feel that, they are good at their work, they're everything. But corporate culture, or you can say the corporate requirement is slightly different. So how we can overcome or bridge that, particular points? Sir, this is for you.
Thank you so much. Very interesting question. See, the organization I'm currently working has an entrepreneurial mindset, and we have a lot of young students who have this energy to become entrepreneurs themselves. So what we have is we have a system called Entrepreneur, okay, which means we give a platform for employees to start an entrepreneur venture within the organization itself and scale it. And now if it is related to Flipkart, and if it is related to something that we can scale, we absorb them. And there have been many instances where they have decided to disassociate with the organization and then partner with us. Okay, so that is definitely possible. And organizations like Flipkart and Paras, I believe even Google is doing such things, right? And maybe you want to add on to that.
That is there, but apart from other things, like we also promote ideas where you can, even if not within Google, if you want to try outside of Google, there is a program within Google that you can also take funds from Google. So that is also there, but depends on the ideas and concept they see and they select. So that's there, right?
So thank you so much, sir. So we have a word called culture. in corporates, or you can see every organization has different cultures now, and our culture is not limited to having employee relations with making them rangoli competitions or enrolling them to some engaging activities, but it is important, I think, that we need certain points where we can groom them. So what do you think with LMS, learning management systems, or you can say the training modules, can we create a work preference for Gen Zs? Is it possible? Or it is, up to their mind whether they want to, stay with the organization or not?
Okay, so let me talk about my organization. Our organization, has a vision statement, or you can call it a value statement, which is I lead. So I stands for integrity, and then learn, then empower, then adapt, and then deliver. So that's I lead for us. So when it comes to Gen Zs, and as you know, I come from a young fashion brand. We call us young fashion brand, although we are 26 years old in the country, and globally we are 50 years old brand. This year we are celebrating our 50 years completion globally. So in our ecosystem, we have a very robust and strong LMS. And as you know that our colleagues, our team members are spread across multiple cities of the country. To be very precise, currently we are in 64 cities. So if you are having a strong and robust LMS platform, you can certainly offer the learning needs, you can fulfill their learning needs. B, if you are able to offer, and if you are able to kind of bring that LMS and marry that LMS system, your learning outcome, into their growth plan also, that definitely helps a lot in terms of retaining, because everything what we are talking right from not only about hiring, but hiring to retention. So, and we talk about culture. So this is something which which is there in our culture, and with that strong platform in place, we are able to retain. While you understand that retail is one industry where you will see a very, very huge attrition. But fortunately for our organization, we are still doing a much better job currently if we compare us with our other competitors. And that is only possible because we are able to have one good LMS platform which is married to their growth, and we have a very well defined career path where a team member, right, when you see somebody at our store standing to one of the counter, a team member can grow to a senior level as high as a business head, and we have a lot of examples in last 25 years. And we talk about Gen Z. So we have if I talk about my current headcount, 64-65% of my headcount is Gen Z only in all my stores, and my average tenure is 3.5 years, which is not a bad tenure to have. And that is possible because we have a very strong culture, and obviously that is kind of giving us a good result.
Vishal, I'd like to come in here.
Please go ahead.
So I think before the retention, I think we need to start off with the recruitment in the first place. So organizations have to be very clear when they are interviewing candidates, especially this set of population, that what the job role entails, what kind of career path they will go through, and then what kind of learnings or skill sets they will acquire in the process. I think it has to start from that. So when we do an interview process, we make it absolutely clear to the candidates that this is the job role that you've been recruited to. But having said that, there are other functions within the organization where if you stay for a longer time, you will have the opportunity to undergo, exposure to the other departments and other skill sets, so that there is no mismatch when the candidate joins the organization. So one, very clear communication in terms of, what the job role entails, so that, there is no exit or there is no high attrition once the candidate joins. I think that's point number one. Second, once they are in, obviously we know this is a population which is very fast-paced, primarily due to the environment that they are exposed to. So continuously we need to reinvent in terms of, how do we keep them excited, how do we keep them motivated in terms of, their learning, their skilling. So training programs which you have mentioned also exist for us within the bank. So we have multiple modules in terms of, certain areas that you want to do, which is obviously online. It's an online certification where a user can do it at his or her own pace. And then obviously there are classroom trainings which we do in terms of, the human resource aspect, the health aspect, so mental health, which we spoke about in the beginning. That is also one aspect which we covered. We also have the technical side, right? So obviously we are in a world where we cannot do away with technology. So a lot of training from the technology side also happens, obviously with the inclination of the user, of the employee. So these are some things which we do, and I think which I think most organizations today have already adapted or will have to eventually adapt. Yeah.
Let me add one thing here. Like when we talk about the retention, it starts from the onboarding. I'm talking from the candidate perspective. If their onboarding process and everything is not that smooth, they get a mindset that maybe I'm not at the right organization. And then starting from there, like we usually in office talk about the 1,000 days concept, where if I'm not getting promotion within 3 years, I will leave this organization. Then I know there are companies like Amazon, they have a specific and structured program for the promotion. If companies will get such programs within that organization, that will be really helpful in getting retention of the candidates. That I can tell because a lot of Gen Z talks about this 1,000 days concept nowadays.
Yes. So this would be my last question, and this is actually close to my heart. When we do campus recruiting or early career recruitments generally, when we say we are going to hire you for Dubai or any international locations, Gen Zs get very excited. They say that yes, I want to go. And suddenly if I say that not Dubai, you have to go to Delhi. For example, if I'm hiring from Guwahati or from UP or anywhere in India, if I'm asking them that your working location will be international only and not in India, they are very happy. They are not ready to understand that what their work role will be in international location, and wherever I'm defining that in India or specifically to a particular location in India, your work role will be this, but they're more inclined towards that. I think I have read a particular statement in Peter Thiel's book 0 to 1. Mobile phones have distracted us completely. So what do you think, how India is better place to work for Gen Zs comparing to international countries?
I think, Vishal, none of us are, all of us are privy to the fact that, today we are the most populous country. And right, so with the most advanced countries, their median ages are anywhere between, the late 30s and 40s. And with India having a huge advantage in terms of the median age, which is 29 and a half years, right? So which means that this is the place to be. And in terms of the economy growing, I think we've seen in the last few years, we've seen that India has moved up to, number 5 in terms of ranking, in terms of the economic development. So I think there's no better place to be than in India. While, we see a lot of, there used to be a concept of brain drain in the earlier years where, people who, probably do their education from the top institutes. The next is, go to the US or go to the UK or Australia or one of the European countries. But I think we've also seen a reverse trend where most of the people are also coming back to the country, realizing the fact that, the future is here. So I think while international locations can be an attraction, I think the future is here.
Right, ma'am. You rightly said. Sir,
See, I completely echo with Ruti. If you ask me, we are the best. We are the best. And even if I am sounding biased, let me sound biased for my country. And looking at the global socio-economic condition, what's happening in Middle East, let's not maybe name, we should not have, certain conversation which are like, which are complicated or which are debatable. But having said that, yes, there is definitely a fascination among Gen Zs where they may want to go to abroad, they may want to go to XYZ country. But at the end of the day, it's your place, it's your land, it's your country which is the best place to work for. And we have seen a lot of cases. I personally know many of the cases where people have just tried to come back to the country. So in my opinion, India is the place, and we have kind of evolved. We have seen how we are placed economically. We have become strong. We are having 5th, 6th position, and last 10, 15 years, we are continuously evolving as a country, and we are becoming stronger day by day on all the aspects. So why not to stay in our country and serve for our country rather than going to other country? Thank you.
Vishal, I would just like to
Yeah, please.
Actually, Gen Zs, tend to attracted by the compensation they're offered outside. That's the main reason they are attracted to work in international level. But then in reality, when they go and work there, because hospitality, I have many colleagues who have moved outside, but they could not even survive for 6 months. Why? Because of the culture. So trust us when we are saying this, India is the best place to work in terms of culture values. So I think we should be here and contribute to the GDP of the country, and we should not move outside. Thank you.
I have one point to add before we open this forum to the audience. Now if you can see, we have ample amount of brands grown in India, now serving to nations, different nations, including, we have Flipkart as a brand who has, internally grown, India-grown brand. Coming back to, our brand, Lenskart, now we have existence in 16 plus countries now. So, I think India is the best, because when we, speak with our MDs, CEOs, co-founders, in fact, the investors, they generally says that India is the biggest market only. We will not get that level of customer base, or you can say the customer expectation we need to fulfill other than India. So I think, yes, India is the best place. We can be Petroid. Yes.
Because I just wanted to add one more point. Please understand that as you grow in the ladder, whether you're in an Indian organization or if you're working in a similar role in a different country, your compensation is the same. And the cost of living there is much, much higher. And you don't have the kind of people here, right? You can knock at somebody's door, you can just visit unannounced. That can never happen abroad. Okay, always remember, as you grow up the ladder, what you earn as a director in India is what you earn as a director in the USA.
Thank you so much, sir. Before we jump on to the conclusion, any questions from the audience side you would love to hear from us? Please.
Hello. My name is Abhishek Sharma, and I'm also working in Ethics and Compliance Department, sir. Sir, you're aware about the implementation of 4 labor codes, which is going to be in India very soon. Probably we may expect by next year, sir. How is it going to impact the Gen Z, sir?
See, I don't see that it's going to have a major impact, because what I've realized working with Gen Z is that they're very flexible. They're not rigid, right? So the way it needs to be communicated to them is not like a rule that is imposed. That is something Gen Z doesn't like. They don't like things to be imposed to them. Rather co-work with them. So for instance, in one of the organizations, when we had to revise our code of conduct, what we did is we didn't revise it. We sent it to Gen Z and we said, if you have to change it, how would you change it? How would you want to interpret it? I think using a similar approach when the rules are finalized, by working with Gen Z and then implementing it, will be the best approach.
So, in addition to that, sir, we have seen that every organization gives priority to women empowerment, and we all talk about the women thing. Now, if I talk about Assam, sir, we have a law called Shops and Establishment Act, and as per Shops and Establishment Act, we have to maintain the working hours for the females thing. So, will it really impact the Gen Z at that time, sir, when if it implemented? for the female workers, sir.
So can you elaborate that question a little more? Are you talking about the constraints of working at different working hours?
Yes, I'm talking about the constraints of working hours.
Working at different working hours?
Yes.
Okay. See, I am not well versed with what is happening in remote areas of the country, but at least in Bangalore, what I know is organizations have come up with a lot of initiatives to support women when they have to work beyond the normal office working hours, 9 to 6, right? So there is an obligation that they have to be provided transport. And if there is a single woman who's being dropped or picked up from her facility, then there has to be an additional security guard and things like that. So organizations are definitely taking steps if the women folk are willing to work in shifts which are not traditional. Okay? So at least in cities, that is definitely happening. But I think in tier 2, tier 3, if people are willing to work on that, it will be really good. I will take Flipkart as an example. We started experimenting having people, female employees work in the hubs in the night. We got the necessary permission. Okay, they are willing to come. So we have the escorts, we have the service, everything in place. Okay, so I don't think so that is going to be a challenge. What is really important is whether the families of tier 2, tier 3 cities are willing to allow the women folk to work outside the normal working hours, whether the men, okay, are, progressive enough to accept that women in their family can work outside the traditional working hours.
Thank you. Thank you.
So now it's time. Okay, we have one more question. If you're not short of time, can we take one question? Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Hello. Very good morning to everyone. It's a great honor to meet everyone here. Sir, I have, sir and ma'am, I have a question, a very simple question. Sir, you just said about switching jobs. I just want to be clear about this. Suppose a candidate, a Gen Z, whoever has came for the interview, and over there I have seen the resume that in the last 1 year, he or she has changed the job 4 to 5 jobs. So, is there in that sense, sir, there may be two aspects, either he don't like the job or there may be some salary issues, sir. So I just want to know, sir, in that sense of what should an HR think that if a candidate is changing its job, switching jobs again and again?
So you mean to say you have experienced attrition just because, the candidates are going to switch or maybe switching back to back to transitioning?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So, the question is actually, related to how we can, turn down that attrition rate because of this switching culture.
See, attrition is a problem which exists all across the organization. So many of us spoke about culture, many of us spoke about the offerings. So as an HR, we need to be the advisor, say to the CEO or to any of your senior leadership, and accordingly we need to build a robust engagement model. And engagement is not only about Rangoli, engagement is not about having a fun Friday. Engagement starts with, right from the onboarding of the candidate, the experience, the communication, what kind of communication you are providing to the candidate. That's where the entire engagement starts. That's the journey when any candidate begins with the organization. See, switching will still happen because candidates will probably run after a better offer, probably they will run after a better organization, so on and so forth. And better organization definition can vary from a candidate to candidate. But mostly what we see is that people kind of go after money, go after monetary benefit. But as an HR person, as an HRBP especially, what is the kind of ecosystem you are building in and around the candidate, in and around the employees? That will definitely help you decrease the attrition. Can you bring the attrition to a level of 0? I think we are yet to find an answer to that. Okay, we are still trying to figure that out. But the better culture you kind of provide, the better engagement you do with the candidates at all levels. It starts, as I said, from onboarding, and then the entire journey begins from there. I think you'll be able to kind of reduce that. You'll never be able to bring the attrition to a 0 level.
Shall, can I take this? My understanding of the question was, if a candidate is in front of an HR and he or she sees that in the resume, there has been multiple job changes, if there is an impact. Is that the question?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So, yeah. So that's what. Yeah, so so I also am part of the recruitment activity. So we do, a lot of recruitments in terms of, it's a big bank, obviously. So obviously when there's a candidate where we see that there has been, multiple job switches in, short intervals, there's a trigger. Obviously, that's point number one. But having said that, we engaged with the candidates to understand what were the circumstances or the reasons which would have compelled the candidate to do that number of switches. And if the reasons sound valid, I think it's not a stopper. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, please.
First of all, good morning to all the panel. So I have a question to Sir Raj. What feedback mechanism can employers use to understand Gen Z's needs better?
Was that question for me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, can you kindly repeat that question? What is the feedback mechanism?
Yes, can employers use to understand Gen Z's needs better?
Okay, so organizations, what they need to do, and most of the organizations that I work for have already done, is there is something called as My Voice survey. Okay, there is an organizational survey which is anonymous, which is sent where Gen Z can voice out their concerns and opinions, whether it is about the leadership style, whether it's about the infrastructure, whether it's about learning and development, whether it's about the facilities in the organization. So that is one aspect. Second is, there is a mandatory requirement for all the leaders to have skip level meetings with the lowest positions in the strata to understand what is their perception about the organization, the leadership culture, and things like that. So if organizations can continue to do that, constantly reach out to Gen Z or people who are starting their career to understand how the organizational place can become better and focus on empowering them, I think that should address this concern. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir. So I have one more question.
Sure.
Is would you like this tailored for a specific audience like HR professionals and students?
I'm sorry?
Would you like this tailored for a specific audience like HR professional and students?
Is there something specific I want to share with HR students and professionals?
Yes, like tailor.
Okay. See, when you're in human resources, I'm sorry if I'm answering on behalf of human resources, right? So, because he's the human... Yeah, he's the human resource expert, and I think there are human resource experts here, and I'm in ethics and compliance. But the word human resources itself is, the word human resources, it's resources, right? So you have to consider a human to be resourceful. Yeah. Sorry about the technical glitches, right? So again, let me re-emphasize, human resources, right? So you have to treat humans to be resourceful. You're not a position to be filled. You're a person, okay? So I feel, and sir, you can add, and ma'am, you can add, and all of you can add, that when organizations bring in people, if they can bring in the human element, that you are a human and you are resourceful, and that's why you're coming into this organization, and my organization can benefit from your expertise. That relationship, if the organization can build through human resources, I think whoever joins the organization will be elated to work in such an organization. I would really request the HR heads also to add their perspectives.
Yeah, so maybe if I can add, Raj. So there is a very famous saying, treat the person the way you want to be treated yourself. So as an HR person, you need to keep your human side always alive. You have to treat the humans like human. If you are able to do that, I think you are able to justify your job and you'll be able to have a very strong, workforce which will work with you, and they would want to work with you in future also, in other organizations also, and they will remember you for your ethics, they will remember you for your values, and they will remember you for the way you had been treating them as their HR business partner or as their HR colleague at workplace. So that's very simple mantra. There is no rocket science. Just treat the way you want to be treated yourself. Very simple.
Thank you so much, sir.
Good morning to all the panel's members. My name is Iris Assam. I'm currently pursuing my MBA specialization in HR at Assam Downtown University. My question is to Sir Paras. Sir, it's very honored to have you. My question is, how do you think technology like gamification, VR, AR can be integrated to recruitment for talent assessment?
Can you please come again?
Sir, how do you think technology like gamification, VR, and AR integrated into a recruitment for talent assessment?
I don't have much idea about like recruitment part of it, but people can.
Yeah, so I can answer it better because, at Lenscard, we are a technology company first and then the retail organization, we always say. So in our recruitment journey, specifically to retail business operations, we have recently introduced AI interviews, wherein the AI is helping our HR recruiters to, access the candidate better. Specific to, the eye vision practitioner, eye care experts, or the optometrist, we have created a gamified version of how refraction can be done, through a mobile application or a web application. So with that, we got to, understand with the data, because ultimately everything we deliver or drives is with data only. So with that data, we understand one thing, that gamification of that interview process or the AI interview has significantly, increased our, previously we were getting no-show percentage, which was very high, or the candidates, we were not able to interview them or screen them better. But with the help of this AI interview and the gamified version of this refraction techniques, we understood that the particular person is actually capable of doing things, and technology is the future. So there is no point, having technology at the back seat. So I think, this entire ecosystem of technology with recruiting. In fact, previously we were working without ATS. We were only, used to do our works generally on Excel sheets only. But now this, culture of, tech and the applications, the specifically the applicant tracking systems has helped us a lot. So I think, yes, this particular AI interview segment or the gamified versions has helped us better in terms of screening the candidate and getting the candidate on board, and meeting the expectations what the company is having actually. Sir, if you would like to add anything. Yeah, that's all.
Gamification, since you mentioned, and where I worked for Marriott for a few months. So there was this recruitment system through gamification, right? So in my Marriott hotel, there is something called, there is an app where you need to enter, and then you need to cross certain levels. It is same as the Farmville, okay? Farmvilla, which you play over mobile phones. So you need to, that will exactly show you whether a person can work, how it feels like working in a live kitchen, how it feels like, working in front of the guest. So that gives you an idea, and you need to cross certain levels. That is how also we get an idea whether the candidate is suitable enough or not. So this is something I learned about gamification. Otherwise, I'm not sure if it is in Pan-India, if this is on. It will still take some time. But thank you.
Thank you, ma'am and sir. Here, one more question for Sir Ravi Shankar Singh. Sir, as a student, we are aspiring to work in a big company. So, sir, can you give me one advice to stand out in a recruitment process?
Sorry, can you repeat your question, please?
Sir, as a student, we are aspiring to work in a big company. Sir, can you give me one advice to stand out in a recruitment process?
Okay. One advice what comes to top of my mind when you want to get associated yourself with any big organization is your preparedness, your homework, your readiness, your pre-work. So whenever you are going for an interview or attending any assessment, you just need to prepare yourself well. Don't try to do anything out of the box. Just be genuine. Try to be genuine. Try to be honest when you are kind of interacting with the recruiter, and be yourself. Be true to yourself. I think rest everything will fall in place.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, so respecting everyone's time, it's time to conclude this session. Since, Paras is here from the Gen Z side, so I would request him to, conclude this session.
One thing I want to add in the last question, like if you want to aim for any big organization, in terms of preparation to excel in the recruitment process, what you can do, there are ample sites available like Glassdoor. I used for myself when I was in small organization. You can get everything there, like what sort of questions they ask in the interview, what is the process, how many rounds, what is the expected packages and everything. There are forums available for that where you can discuss with person working in the same organization whether I should join or not, company culture and everything. So you can utilize that. And thank you everyone for coming here, and thanks for nice questions, and definitely I learned a lot of things today, and open for the discussion. After the session we'll go there and you can ask anything. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
A heartfelt thank you to our esteemed panelists for such a thought-provoking and engaging discussion. Your valuable insights have left us inspired and more informed, especially being in the training and development cell. It really inspired me too, sir, for the new words that we have learned, which will actually show our new path for our students. Thank you so much, sir. May I now request all the esteemed panelists to just be down. And I request our respected Dean Ma'am and ED Ma'am to felicitate our respected panelists. We request our panelists to please stay for a group photograph. Our second panel discussion centers around redefining Gen Z's recruitment, their early talent identification, and flexible career pathways. The future of hiring, skill-based hiring, and embracing HR tech trends. Wow, what a concept. Now, let us invite our guest speaker for this session, Mr. Ravi, a visionary leader with an expertise spanning over 25 years, including leadership, talent mobility, immigration operation, and project management, solutions and transition management. He is currently working as an HR lead, HR partner organization, IBM, India, South Asia. Throughout his career, Ravi has consistently focused on improving operational excellence, implementing innovative solutions, and fostering collaborative environments. With proud privilege, I would like to welcome Mr. Ravi on stage and request him to kindly take his respective seat. Now, we have with us Mr. Sharath Ray, a seasoned HR professional. Currently, he is working as a cluster head plant operation Annapurna Group. Sharath's guiding principle is centered around work value creation, and his driving force is to coach and mentor new generation to build their three-dimensional identities in industry. With an impressive 30 years of experience in the FMCG industry, Sharath has in-depth expertise and handling a diverse range of products and processes. His insights and experience are truly going to inspire and enlighten us. So let's extend our heartiest welcome to Mr. Sharath and kindly request him to take his respected seat.
Please join me in extending a warm welcome to Stuti Borpujari ma'am. She is an exceptional HR professional currently serving as a manager HR sales NER Northeast region at Coca-Cola Guwahati. Recognizing multiple awards including the HR Excellence Award and National Leadership Awards. She excels in fostering employee growth, managing transactions and driving organizational success. I welcome you ma'am and kindly please request you to take your respective seat on the stage.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, we have an exceptional guest speaker, Anita, ma'am. Currently, she is HR head for Larsen & Toubro Educate. She truly believes people matters. She is a people advisor, coach in creating progressive career. She won the iconic Women Achievers Award, Women Leader Award, Innovation Award, and Will Women Choice Awards 2023. I welcome you, ma'am. Kindly request you to take your respected seat.
Let us now welcome respected dignitary Mr. Vikas Singh Singhora, Regional HR Head West, Ecom Express, a distinguished HR professional with 14 plus years of experience across diverse business domains like e-commerce, telecom, manufacturing plants, projects, infrastructure, services, sales, and marketing. He is indeed a seasoned, dynamic human resource manager and professional. So let us extend our heartiest welcome to Mr. Vikas. I request you, sir, to please take your seat on the stage.
Our distinguished moderator for this session, Mr. Abhishek Sharma. Abhishek Sharma, a proactive HR/ER professional. He is presently working as an assistant manager in Reliance Retail Limited. His expertise spans conflict resolutions, compliance management, POS, with a proven track record of improving employee satisfaction and fostering an inclusive workplace culture. So let us extend our heartiest welcome to Mr. Sharma and request you, sir, to please take your seat. Thank you, sir. I kindly request all the distinguished panelists to start the discussion and share their valuable insights. Thank you, ma'am.
Very good morning to all of you present over here. And it is an honor for me to be back at Assam Downtown University. As last year I was awarded the Best HR Award. So this time I'm back again as a guest speaker. So thank you to Assam Downtown University. And I like to thank the first panel members who have given their insights with regard to recruitment, Gen Z, and about their work. So now we will now focus on the future of hiring skill base in regard to recruitment techniques and also how the talent can be attracted. If we look back 10 years gap, I believe all the HR panel members will agree with me that we do see a change in the recruitment techniques now. So this is the era of AI, and I think every CV, whenever a CV is forwarded for recruitment or anything else, the AI tool is being used to judge that whether the CV is appropriate or not, or whether it gets selected or not. So I would like to understand from all the panel members, how different is the recruitment techniques 10 years back till today? And what change have you seen? Like, for example, we do see a change. If I talk about myself, I have seen a change in every prospect, whether it is in terms of technology, whether in terms of food, in terms of your lifestyles. Everything has changed in keeping in mind the generation requirements. So I would like to understand from all the panel members, what change have you seen in the recruitment techniques from early trends to now trends?
Hello. Yeah, thank you, Abhishek. And so, yeah, maybe before that, I mean, before we even start with the recruitment techniques and all, I was just kind of refreshing my. So, first of all, I would like to say I would like to say that I am a millennial with the sensibilities of Gen Z. Okay, so I can try and be a representative for Gen Z as well, and also may try to bring in some of the perspectives that they might want to learn from the earlier generations, right? First of all, who are Gen Z? They are digital natives, socially very, very active, a bit impatient as well, wants things too early, too fast. Their definition of discipline is very different. Their definition of hard work is very different. Okay, their definition of hard work might not fit into the definitions that the earlier generations had, but that does not discount that they are actually hard workers, right? I think the term work hard, party harder was made for them only. Thoda jaldi ban gaya, but it was for them only. Apart from that, they represent flexibility. Hello. Apart from this, they represent flexibility. They represent concerns on the mental health. They are socially very active. They are socially conscious as well. Now, when we look at the recruitment practices or HR practices in general, see, as many of the panelists in the earlier panels also expressed that, let's say today probably 30-40% of the workforce in their organizations are Gen Z. I come from, I've worked with telecom, manufacturing, and now e-commerce, Flipkart, Amazon, and then e-com express now. In my field workforce, I have 90% of the workforce is Gen Z actually. Okay, now, so they are not really looking for a lot of traits that the earlier generations used to look, like stability, a lot of security. What they are looking more is meaning in the work that they are doing. Is it serving the purpose that they are looking at? Okay, so organizations have to kind of align to what that generation is looking at. If we look at specific practices, we were speaking about gamification in the earlier panel, right? So a lot of IT companies, a lot of e-commerce companies have actually switched to gamification as one of the key recruitment tools. Okay, then again, in terms of practices, I am not a big fan of AI, to be very frank. While we talk a lot of AI for screening, etc., in my understanding, while this is not an AI discussion, I would say for AI, HR is the last bastion. Okay, because it's very high human touch function. Okay, now if you take out the human touch out of it, then it would not remain the function that it should be. So for AI, HR should be the last bastion. But yes, in terms of reducing a lot of transactional stuff, definitely there are a lot of AI tools which organizations are using. There are a lot of tools that are actually reducing a lot of transactional work in terms of recruitment. So gamification and using a lot of other new age systems are actually bringing more efficiencies into the recruitment practices. That's something that I would like to start with and open to discussion with the other panel members.
Hello. First of all, thankful I'm here getting an opportunity being in this position and adding some value. My first question to Gen Z. Really, do you want a artificial intelligence, or so far my understanding, I recognize you people, that you student, you are originally intelligent. No need of artificial intelligence. First, be capable. First, evaluate yourself. What is the meaningful version of your life, of your knowledge, of your skill, of your ambition? When you are writing about yourself in form of resume or CV, first you think, what is your goal? This goal means what type of process you want to go ahead, what type of people you want to connect, and what type of position you want. Now, the position invites you to ask question, and when you will be at ask mode, your curiosity will start, and curiosity make you to think out of box, and what the industry and we people like recruiter, the authority we have, we invite you people. So my point is, artificial intelligence will give you a platform as a data bank, something about the cross-related, that what the future will go ahead. But be genuine first. What is your understanding of the society? Because you are the ultimate creator of our society. So my point is, the artificial intelligence one part, and when we people are recruiting, we are first thinking the human touch. Because in a manufacturing, I am from the manufacturing industry, you know the 5M, man, machine, material, method, and money. But the ultimate decision maker is man. And respect man, and also we are welcome man.
So, Abhishek, let me just go back to your question. Your question was, how has AI changed the recruitment practices? Is that?
No, my question was, what is the difference of recruitment techniques 10 years back and in today's time?
It depends from sector to sector. That's one, right? Now, AI is a augmented help for people to get through the process. So, Vikas mentioned, it's just going to help us on a transactional basis. We were speaking to the esteemed Vice Chancellor yesterday. Thousands of students are being churned out every year. So that means whenever we open a position, we have thousands of applicants, right? We just opened a position in HR 2 months ago, and I had 1,600 applications. Is it possible for recruiters to sift through the 1,600 applications manually? Not possible. We make errors, we might let go many good people or candidates. So what has changed? We use AI to look at bringing in the right set of candidates to the fore. Is it completely foolproof? No, because what you put into your resume, how you write your resume, what skill sets are called out is very important. So as we look at that with AI, with the tools that we have, and finally the interview process as we recruit people. So as we look at that, we use AI for a few basic things. One is augmenting the monotonous process of sifting. Two, to take away the bias. Somebody in the previous panel, a question came up saying, if somebody has switched 5 jobs,
correct,
do I hire the person? When I put it through AI, it's not going to give me that answer. It's going to still give me if the person had the relevant skills. From a human tendency, we have a bias. 1 year, 5 jobs, I don't want the person. Yeah. So that's where we leverage AI and the tools. The process of recruitment has changed from that perspective. The number of people, the volume, and the scale we operate is different. But at the end of the day is the person coming with the relevant skills. And more importantly, I'm from IBM. We look at if the person is going to be attuned to our culture. If you do not have a cultural fitment, I think previous panelists spoke about that. If you do not have a fitment on the culture, we are not going to hold on to the person any more than they will stay with us. So these are changes that we are looking at.
So probably I will share my thoughts. So a very good morning to one and all here. We talked about Gen Z. For me, Gen Z is very purpose-driven. They are very clear what their wants are. They are also equally clear what they don't want. So that actually sets the pace that how we have to look at Gen Z, when we look at a career or a job. Yeah? And there's a lot of difference between when we talk about career and a job. So when we talk about recruitment, it's the initial phase of anyone starting their career. Specifically to your question, how are the times changed from yesteryears to today? Gone are the days where, you expect a candidate to carry a resume and come and, stand at the doors of an organization. Today, the organizations are coming to the doors of the campuses and are ready to hire. So this is the first change. So there is a lot of demand. So demand versus supply, I think there is a lot of demand. There is supply, but is the supply the right way? I think Vice Chancellor spoke about it, that how many people are actually, educating and coming out of the college, but how many are getting employed? So we are talking about employment or employability. When you talk about employability, it talks about the skills, what they actually acquire, even during their curriculum when they are learning. So the first thing change is that it is more digital today. Yeah. So when we talk about the skill-based hiring, I think that's our topic today. Organizations have moved on into more number of methods and innovative techniques using AI, like how our co-colleagues said. We are going for skill-based assessment. Platforms like Codility, Hackers Rankers, and Versora are being used. I represent L&T EduTech, where we use assessments for various freshers to really identify for the potential roles. So that is the first step. I think we are looking from a profile, stipulating it with the kind of a curriculum, CV, and then looking at it. So it's more skill-based, right? The second thing is it offers a lot of flexibility. Defining 5 years stipulated period of experience, people talk about what skills do they possess, right? Third, you offer more flexible options of career. So these 3 things, probably I'll pause now and allow my colleague to speak about it. I think these 3 things are clearly differentiating from what was in the past to our current trends of recruitment today.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, present everyone here, and thanks to Assam Downtown University for inviting me here. See, we have a lot of talks about Gen Z. So if I have to say, I'm living day in and day out with a Gen Z in my house. And I really appreciate the kind of clear thoughts they are having in their minds. Nothing wrong. They are bold. See, for us, I have learned many things from Gen Z because I have one in my own house. They are very clear. What we were taught initially to be selfish, they taught us it is not selfish, it is self-love. So it's nothing wrong. You can learn a lot of things from them. And I really want that should be there, because an organization also grows, because we are evolving. Why? Because these needs have come. The needs have come, that's why the organization is also revolving. And yes, 10 years down the line, whatever was the recruitment process, it's really getting changed. Before we were used to call for an interview and we used to make our candidates sit. Now, we know that they value time, so immediately if we call them for an interview process, they come on time and we do the interview on time. That is one change I have seen over the period. And moreover, now, yes, rather than we calling the candidates to our offices, we visit campuses. A lot of meaningful workshops are done where people can show their talents and they stand out and yes, we are doing tie-ups with a lot of colleges where we go and do workshops from time to time, and we identify the potential candidates. This is one way of recruitment now. Moreover, as a HR professional, if you tell me more than going for a campus interview, I prefer to have more and more interns and apprentices program, because this gives it's a win-win situation for both, because the candidate also knows or gets a feel about the company's work culture, and the employer also gets an opportunity to evaluate the candidate over a period of time. So last time we had a target somewhere around 250 interns, so we are again increasing this time, because this really works for us to identify the proper talent, and they also get a feel of our work culture. So I think, and moreover now there are a lot of project-based works which is coming, and this is really attracting the Gen Z, because they feel that this project-based works are more in line with their personal interest, and they can show or shine better in those projects. And I think the reflection of it, if you can see the number of gig workers and the freelancers, and Gen Zs are getting more and more attracted to it. So we are adopting that model as well. Thank you.
Rightly said by all the members. Few keywords that I like to highlight. Sir talked about hard work. Ma'am talked about skills. Sir talked about the exact skills that require. I think the hard work is actually changed to smart work now. It is completely now smart work, because when a candidate goes for an interview, the interviewer actually looks after his skills. When a person enters the room, the interviewer knows that whether he or she is the right person for the job. So rightly pointed out. And in addition to Stuti ma'am, I think we have now, after COVID, a lot of changes have taken place, and we can see now virtual interviews being taking place. I'm pretty sure all the HRs present over here, we do get an opportunity to attend virtual meetings, and it is a prime time job of everyone's life. So I think virtual interviews have also taken a change, because if I recall back, when I completed my graduation in 2007 from Bangalore, I used to go and take my CV to the companies. So that time has changed now. And social media platforms have also come. I'm pretty sure all of you know about LinkedIn. You have Naukri.com, and you have found it. I think if any person is talented, he or she will be able to use that resource in a very appropriate way.
Just kind of an addendum to my response to the first question, and it might have interfaced with some of the responses from panelists. So, apart from the way we recruit, I think there is a very important factor of the way we offer career options to Gen Z. Okay, and that would I would like to touch upon the gig workers here. I come from e-commerce industry, right? So gig work is a big thing in e-commerce industry. Now, taking some examples, so we had a model called Alpha in Amazon, where the person is not a full-time employee, the person actually gets a platform, and we release the requisitions of the flex every day. And the person can book the slot and come to work next day, and he can choose not to come the other day. So it's completely flex. In some of the business areas of Amazon, it is in fact a half-day flex model. So that kind of flexibility organizations are giving to the Gen Z. Similarly, in organizations like Flipkart, my earlier organization, and the current one, Ecom Express, we have ESP models, which are per packet models. So you can choose to just deliver 15 packets instead of working entire day, and you are done for the day. It depends on what you need as a person, as a Gen Z, right? So these are on the gig workers. On the regular models, one thing that I wanted to touch upon was, again, in terms of how we offer the career options, is on the NTUG model that we had in Amazon. So we had a 6-month internship. So now, digressing from the original practice of just having a quick 2 months internship and deciding whether we want to offer a PPO or something, we actually have a 6-month engagement where the intern would be at our premises working very closely with us, almost as a full-time employee. Now both the sides get an opportunity to look at each other, review each other, and kind of judge each other. And then both the sides take a very, very conscious call. So it actually takes care of those challenges which we used to have in the earlier days. Ke yaar pasand nahi aaya, 2 mahine mein samajh mein nahi aaya, and now we are like, I'm stuck with a wrong job. All of those concerns are kind of taken care of. So a very, very key trait of Gen Z, which is the pragmatism and the honesty, is also taken care of through these kind of models that organizations are offering nowadays.
Absolutely, sir. And definitely we agree what you have said. Yes, sir.
Hello. I like to add some points. What is the recruitment process? So for my understanding, there is an industry, there is a need. And what type of need? What industry wants? Industry wants 5 things. 1, you can resolve the problem. 1. Second is, show me the money. 3rd, innovative idea. And 4th, foreseeing the risk. Now these are the need. And what are the solution? Solution is the Gen Z. Now, in between, the recruitment process has been changed. Previously, the recruiter, the interviewer asked to ask and check what type of mindset he or she is having. Now, recruiter checking whether it is fixed mindset or the growth mindset. Now I am adding another mindset that is called pure mindset. Now the industry thinking, if a person having a pure mindset means not only the growth mindset, also added the right intention and right direction. If you have that pure mindset, I am 110% sure you will be recruited. Thank you.
Thank you for your words, sir. Pure mindset is something that we all must have, and I believe it will definitely lead to anyone's dream career. Few of the members a few minutes back talked about internships. So nowadays we have seen that a lot of internship programs are coming up, and it has been sponsored by the government of India. The latest is the Prime Minister National Internship Program. I think we all have heard about that. And there's one more thing about the National Apprenticeship Program. So I question to all the members, will providing internship opportunities to the Gen Z candidates, do you think it will have an impact? And if yes, why? If no, why?
It does have a huge impact, and it's a positive impact. And I would urge all the students here to take up that opportunity of internship not lightly. Yeah, they have to be very, very serious. People might not come and say that, do this, do that. But when you're inside an organization, you would never know whom you're bumping into. It can be the president of the company, it can be the, department head or a HR head. But that's the impression that you give, that how you are able to actually position yourself even as an intern. So few practices which I can share here is, there is something called early internship, right? From the industries, it can be, I have an experience from manufacturing, textile, GCC's IT and engineering R&D divisions. So everywhere the internships are actually of prime sort, yeah? MTech internships are for 9 months, and trust me, we don't get candidates, the right candidates, right? We go hunting for the right candidates. BTech, of course, offers 3 months, and there's a flexibility with the students to make it 6 months as well. But if you want to go for a vacation, then you dilute that time. But that period time is very important for the organization, because you get integrated into the culture much earlier. So you know the culture of the organization, you know the culture of the department, you know how it works for you. So early internships is a part now. A few companies which I worked, we do the second year onwards, and if it comes to the final year, they take it for a year also. So that really helps. Secondly, when it comes to internship, people also talk about, how work is being allocated. I was just having a casual chat. People are talking about, I think in the earlier panel also they talked about, how internships come and go. Maybe they will not be assigned tasks. Internship is the only period where people can learn across all departments. There will be no bridges, there will be no walls, right? But once you become an employee, it is very important that you will have your restrictions to learn from the mindset. So internship is in a period you can walk around, ask your questions, feel free to grasp and learn as much as possible. So internship, I'll probably pause and allow other members, but internship is very important. There are different models of internship for technical, non-technical, and we also in L&T EduTech deploy a lot of internships, and I'm happy to say we have an immersion program running with Assam Downtown University. The internships are also more project-based. It's not only the theoretical. We take students to the sites as well. If it's technical, we deploy people in offices. So I heard the feedback was good, and also there's a pressure element when it comes along with the internships. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Anita. Right. For us, internship is the way, because we try recruiting, and I might sound really right in your face in terms of saying, what do we need to do for Gen Zs? What do we need to do for this, right? For us, at the end of the day, this is the only workforce we have. 3 years ago, we started off with the Gen Zs into the workforce. It's not going to change. I'm seeing a generation alpha out here sitting down very busy with the phone. But the fact is, the models will evolve. Now, we give internship to people, and Anita was saying we don't get people. We also want the good people out. So remember, we are not going to give internship to everybody. I can only afford to give to a section of population. So I'm going to look for the best of people to come into the internship. But what we do is, we do a 6-month internship with a confirmed offer at the end, and you get that offer right in the beginning. Why do we do it? It's selfish. We are running a business. I don't want to train you for 6 months and then let you go to another organization. But at the same time, when you're coming in, what works? She said you'll work in different departments. We have changed that methodology. In the IT sector now, we work, interns come in, they have a project to do. But the second is, we have also left crowdsourcing. So you can throw out an idea, and this is where innovation comes in, and you have a pool of leaders and developers and everybody, and somebody who thinks the idea works, jumps in, contributes. So it is not only that you're working on a project, you have a different idea, you just go ahead and put it in, and this is during your internship process. You have a fundamental way of working through a crowdsource. We don't work just in set teams anymore. We are much more flexible in terms of saying, I have an idea, here it is, because I do not know. If I go to the manager might not even understand what my idea is all about. But we have tools where you put it in. So somebody said, so you will have an architect who will come back and sit with you. You will have a developer who will sit with you. And then you develop that product. And that's viable for us as an organization and gives you the skill that you need. So it also gives us the element of 6 months to assess you, and the day you join our organization, you're productive on day one. All I want to say is, everybody, any company you join, the corporate you're joining, the industry you're joining in is out there as a business. They are out there to make money. They are out there to make profit. So the day you're going to be productive is what I'm going to look for, or any organization is going to look for. If somebody is there, they can do the work from day one, versus somebody who I need to train for 3 or 4 months, I'm always going to look for day one. So go ahead with that mindset of learning. Go ahead with the mindset when you are going in for an internship, go with the focus of breaking that internship and saying, I'm going to be part of it, and then going back to be on top of it during that course of.
Sarath sir, in continuation to that question, you're from manufacturing industry, sir, and whenever a person comes, a student comes for an internship, the expectation is very different, because a manufacturing industry is something that, we have to be 24/7. So what are your views on the expectation from an intern?
One thing is very important, that internship or apprenticeship, now the one ongoing, also it is a agenda of the government also. The first thing is, what institute do? Institute learning means know-how. And what industry understanding, industry need is so-how. Now this know-how and so-how, there is a gap. Now, one student or a fresher when coming, we know he or she having knowledge. We know he having some goal and some meaning of whatever he's understanding. But the important is, industry is running with some good practices. That is from their book learning. Then in case of internship or apprenticeship, when they are coming as a student mindset, they understand, they become aware what actually industry want. So this is a very good platform. So there is a good connection actually. So connection, awareness, and the preparedness for the journey, actual career journey. So that, in that perspective, I will say my second point is, there are two types of students, talented, and I don't think talented guy, whatever the Gen Z, they will sign today or tomorrow, here or there. There is no need of another support. But the average students, when we people, like we people are Gen X, I think.
Correct.
Gen X. We people have some authority, some maturity. We people have some ownership. How to develop these Gen Z who are in average. So we have a responsibility to discover their hidden potential. once they can understand, okay, it may be this is not my right skill, or I am not very strong in that skill, but the boss or the manager or the leader already identified some hidden skill and where I can explore my. That is my.
Absolutely. You reminded me of my internship days when I did my internship from NEPCO Shillong, and you have correctly said know-how. In fact, my trainer, my intern, she also said that you should actually know. It's not like, we know that when I was an MBA student, we had to do an academic project. But it's up to us where we want to go, because internship is also a step to your career. Whatever internship you are doing, it should be your goal towards your next objective. I was very clear about my internship when I did. I'm a pass out from Assam Royal Global University, and my professor asked me this question, that what is your topic? I said to ma'am that, ma'am, I want to do internship on performance management system. And it's one of the most critical topic, because performance management system is about talking about the appraisal system in an organization. Rightly said this thing. And there are varieties of performance management techniques. Like, you have a semester exam and you're graded and you get your results. Even we are also being appraised. So my performance management system was focused on 360-degree appraisal and written assessment method. So I did my work, and when I presented the project, it was a very good project. And even today, I remember what my trainee said, that this method is applicable for blue workers, this method is applicable for white workers. So when you do your internship, you must be clear that, yes, I want to do it and I want to carry forward.
Right. So continuing the discussion, what are the key traits, right? That was the question. What are the key traits that you would look at in an intern? Folks, stick to the basics. No one is expecting you to know rocket science in internship. ठीक है? क्या ही बता लोगे? Industry में there is so much of knowledge, है ना? So what they are actually looking at is very basic level of your knowledge. What they are actually looking at is your intent, right? Your intent, your learnability, and the right attitude. The right attitude would be humility with assertiveness. Right. So if you can bring in these three traits while you are interning, I think if you are approaching it the correct way, that should be enough. A few more factors on the internship thing. Advice to the academia, while it was not the discussion point, any internship model would always be the best tool to break into an industry than any recruitment model ever would do, because internship is the only tool which can actually create a win-win situation. If you are not able to get into a particular industry, approach them with the right win-win model for internship. I have seen hundreds of times, I have worked with hundreds of colleges and universities, that a corporate which was not willing to give recruitments, full-time recruitments to a college, actually they were cracked only through the internship model, because the internship model can actually showcase the benefits very, very clicely. Then one advice to the prospective students, specifically on the internship part, look for, while it's a very cliched advice, I would support it with my example, okay? Look for quality of work. Forget about money during internship, just look at the quality of work. I'll give you one example. When I was interning for my MBA from Symbiosis Institute of Business Management, तब recession का time चल रहा था, 2008 से 2010. Now companies were actually not offering money. We got into a very good company, but without a stipend. And my CHRO very, very clearly, he's a very renowned leader in the HR industry. He told us very clearly, folks, due to the monetary constraints, I'm not able to provide you a stipend, but I can assure you a world-class learning. And I still remember those words, because when we came back and when we were having the internship presentations, the quality of learning that I got in terms of learning and development, I worked with one of the best guys in the Bangalore HR industry, and I actually learned the kind of models that I don't see the L&D professional learning even now, after having done 10, 14 years of experience. So if I ask Kirkpatrick model, probably 60% of people would not know, even in L&D fraternity. If I ask about ADDIE model, probably 80% of people would not know. That's the kind of learning that we got back in 2009, 2010. So the point that I'm trying to make here is look at the quality of work, the quality of mentors that you're getting while in your internship. Thank you.
Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah, I think very well said. See, I have met a lot of people who come and first thing they will ask, we want to do internship, and is it a paid internship? See, take this internship program as very, very seriously, because today you are a student. The moment I give you the offer letter, you become an employee. And as soon as you become an employee, I'll have expectations. So the other day probably you were a student, and the moment the next day you get a letter, you become an employee. Now this transition from student to employee, this internship can bridge the gap between this transition from student to employee. Take maximum utilization from this internship program, maximum learning from, so that you can get into any of your desired industry through this internship program. Please take it very, very seriously, and you can really break through any of the companies.
Just before you, sorry, go ahead. Just one input. All my first initial career stints was where I had done my intern. That's the proof of the pudding to say that how important internships are. Few weren't paid at all those times, but that gives an opportunity to directly work, and the first impression that you create is very, very important. So my first 3 career stints, which is a very long tenure, came with the responsibility of including IR and HR, was because when I was an intern, I dared to perform. I took up the opportunity, whichever came my way, to say that, they didn't insist on time, but discipline is very, very important when you're in the interning period. So that is one thing which I want to share here to everyone. So don't take internships so lightly. It is an opportunity, don't miss it.
One point I want to add, it is very, I think, it is in my 30 years experience says, during internship, the 2 things will happen at that stage. One is the mine construction industry. You know what is mine construction industry? The mine construction industry, that is like your mobile phone, your app, which one distract your mind. And they will encourage to be work in the comfort zone. So in that stage, in internship stage, don't be distracted by the mine construction industry. Second is, try to connect with the professional friends, because that is the right platform during your internship. Professional friend means you will get that opportunity to connect with the industrial expert, mentor, guide, trainer, and coach. Try to be connected with them and keep in touch. Then your life will be changed in a drastic mode. Thank you.
Correctly said, sir, because internship is a period is something where the concerned person is able to identify he or she that you're skill based or not. And it is the golden opportunity which I believe that everybody must utilize it. In addition to all, there's one more question that has come into my mind, and I think it's for all the panel members. Is physical internship important or virtual internship is important? Because after COVID, we have seen most of the companies have been providing virtual internship. So I just want to know from all of you, which internship is actually impactful?
Right, great question. And we say Gen Z is flexibility. But internships for us, we would love to have you physically there. The only reason for that is you need to understand the organization that you're going to work with. What we have seen during the COVID years, 2 years, people we hired in large numbers, were completely disconnected. So when offices opened, they knew nobody. If you ask what is the value of the organization, they did not know. You ask the culture of the organization, they had no clue on what's happening. So you're completely disconnected. So what happens is internship is one way for us as an organization to hire the people, but it's equally important for you to see if that organization makes sense for you to stay, right? We spoke, Paras is here from Google. The Google of yesterday to Google of today, very different, right? So today people might look at Google and say, I don't want to go to Google, I might go to Intel. It's a differential of approach because when you start working, your exposure is to the people that you're going to work with. Your seniors, people who are from different generations, how are you interacting with them? You can only see your facial expressions on a camera, and most often than not, none of the people are on camera. So you don't even know the reactions. It's easier to, when I speak on the stage and I look at it, I know what people are reacting, right? Some of them might be nodding off, some of them are interested in it, but you get a feel of what happens. So I don't believe internship will be viable from a virtual perspective. Learning definitely yes, but not from an internship.
Correctly said, sir.
I will say that when we are talking about the virtual and the physical intensive and the virtual intensive, both are important in defined perspective. When you are virtually connected, then your thought process also unidirectional. But when you are physically talking or physically that intensive is happening, your mind will be multidimensional. So many situations are there in practical and reality. Because life or your action is not like that you are thinking and someone is thinking. No. So many people are thinking. So many situation is interpreting and interfering your decision-making process. So important is, I will say, I will prefer that the physical intensive is more beneficial.
Okay. Over to Vikas, sir. I want a different answer from you, sir. Since you are from e-commerce, it's completely virtual, sir. So, do you think virtual internship will have an impact, sir? It's the era of e-commerce, sir.
You want my answer or different answer?
No, I want your answer as an HR, sir.
Okay, so virtual internships may work for very specific instances, for very specific purposes. I would say while you are doing any particular course, aim to do at least one physical internship. There is no substitute for that. But if you have done at least one physical internship and you are looking for more work or more internship, or if your curriculum allows that, an additional internship or a project-based work, right? Then you can look for virtual ones, and in specific niche areas like software development and other cycles of the software development process, there might be virtual internships which might be of help. So for example, you've done a physical internship with Ravi's organization, and then if you're looking at more exposure, if your curriculum allows that, then why not choose more internship with other software organizations in different domains of your area of learning? That would really add value. So that there the virtual internship works, but yes, as a primary one, physical is always preferable, and the reasons the panelists have already covered. So I would advise for that. But as an additional one, yes, virtual may work.
Thank you.
Because you touched upon a very important point, right? Projects. So while it's not an internship where they come and work, We have IIM students working on their projects with us, right? It's not an internship model, but it's a project model where they do it over a period of 2 months. So they are interacting with various focals, various leaders to get a perspective, right? You are all responsible in your curriculum to go back and present something that you have worked as a group. So as you do that, that's a form, and we have recruited people from there because we have seen the interest that people have shown, their thought process when they are even asking us questions. It's not about us providing answers. They want answers. You come to us, you're asking questions. It is interesting to see sometimes when those questions come in, we don't have those answers in. And those are the people that we want to absorb. So we also see and look at people when they come in for projects on absorbing these candidates in who show that, because as an organization, and I think I can speak for everybody, that we need a diversity in thought. I don't need everybody to be the same. If everybody is the same, everybody is telling me the same things, there is no room for improvement, because everybody says, yeah, move right, move left, move left. It's more like communism, right? But the fact is, if you have an element to challenge, have the ability to question which do not have answers for, we are more interested in that than you asking me questions that I can answer.
Rightly said, sir. We have talked about the past recruitment techniques, and we have also focused on internship. Now we'll move on to a very new thing, that is about talent identification. The talent identification is about how we need to identify the candidates, what are the techniques, what are the strategies. I mean, we appoint a candidate for an internship. Now it's time that we need to assess him or her, whether he or she is eligible or not. And I think Stuti ma'am also stated that point in one of our earlier views. So my question to you all is like, how challenging it is to identify the talent identification, and how is it going to impact the Gen Z?
So we have already identified the talent if you're doing an internship with us. Trust me on that, right? But for us, from there, who is going to grow? What skills do they develop during that 6 months, 2 months? Can be variety of models, right? But what skills have you developed? What is the interest that you're showing? And I mentioned this earlier. Do you really fit into the culture? Because the culture is very different. If I go into a manufacturing setup versus if I go into an engineering setup, you come into an IT industry, it's very different culture. Do you make sense of it? Are you able to collaborate and make it? Nobody is expecting you, and I think Vikas mentioned that, to be a rocket scientist, and you cannot. I do not have answers across. I'm very happy to partner to get a solution. Are you able to do that? So we are going to look at your attitude and aptitude. This has been there throughout our journey from when we got our jobs. It continues to be there. Do you have the aptitude and attitude? Are you able to go in, find a solution for the problem, not by yourself, but by taking help and looking at building? And that's a very important skill. All you need to know is who do you need to connect. It's as good as all of you reach out, and I see a lot of us saying, can I do an internship at IBM? Paras will get the same question, can I do an internship at Google? Anita will get it for L&T. You need to have that clarity on who you can reach, create that relationship over a period of time. When you do that, that bond is what will help you in terms of furthering your career as you want to go ahead. Yeah?
Anita ma'am?
Resonating with definitely Ravi and Vikas on the early talent and the needs. First thing is organizations are actually having a lot of practices. I will share a few practices where they tap the early talent and also develop them, because it's not only looking at the talent, but it's also how do you groom them to the faster career. The earlier panel spoke about it. They want faster growth. That's because I think our friend from Google also spoke about it. Yes, they are indicating that they have an aspiration to grow faster. They are looking at promotions within that first initial days. So if there is a potential in the candidate, performance is one thing, potential is different, yeah? But they always get confused with the performance and potential. So if a person can shoulder that potential and grow, so we use few practices which I can illustrate. We say catch them young, yeah? So what we do is we have a lot of communication platforms. We have CEO Connects. So in Catch Them Young, we identify the people who are the best rated in the initial level. And trust me, in my earlier company where I worked in Bosch, we had a lot of freshers coming in, and they actually changed the culture of an organization, because as we grow, we hire and hire, they are the culture markers for us. So what we do is, when the freshers come in and they work on the real-time projects, they are easily identified and they have made a cohort. And this cohort, in every department which they work, it's software, development, embedded, electronics or EV, whichever you call it. So they actually form a cohort, and then we group them according to their skill set, and we say catch them young. They are put into a rigorous 6 months program where they are actually subject to a lot of exposure, right from taking along with the board members, having a conversation, looking how the financials work. It's not easy when they aspire to grow. So this is one of the, identifying as a high pod in the earlier one. Giving a promotion, even in L&T, we have a policy, if the person is really, really doing good and they have the potential, you make a faster career path for them and start promoting them, looking at them, giving roles and responsibilities. Yeah. Thirdly, you also have a practice where whenever it comes to any communication platforms, asking them to lead a topic. Yeah? So 3 things I would like to conclude when it's saying early talent. Early talent students who are present here, definitely, stand up, speak up, and show up the courage to be saying that I am a talent and I need to be developed. Because we have reverse mentoring, a technique where youngsters do the mentoring for the Gen X people, because I'm not so much, tech savvy when it comes as much as people out there. So how do I do? So they teach us what are the techniques, how you be very fast on LinkedIn. And as we talk, somebody would have already posted. And we will take, at least 10 minutes to think whether we have to post it or not. So I think these are the traits that which we see. So show the traits, and this early talent development is not just one attempt, like what Ravi says, it's on the performance project development, but organizations are very much focusing on it. Development starts right from behavioral as well as technical competencies, and in L&T, we have a vigorous process which we follow up till, say, 3 years initially, and that's again when they take a career shift. Whether they start generic, they want to move into projects or move into technical, that's where they decide. And based on their career path they choose, we actually, develop them.
Rightly said, man. Building relationship is very important, and I think that will definitely help anyone, if a working person or non-working professional. Building relationship is one of the most important criteria.
Yeah, so in terms of identification of talent, I would look at it in 2 stages. If I am hiring someone directly, a fresher directly, I would mostly look at, I'm using more umbrella terms, and a lot of other skills would actually be a part of it. First would be initiative. If I'm looking at a fresher, what would I look at? Right, again, no rocket science. Initiative. Have you taken initiatives in your life? Right. Second, exposure. Are you exposing yourself to variety of areas that are relevant to your learning and your career? Basics of functional skills. Okay. Authenticity. As a fresher, this is all that we need, right? I was in a NMIMS just last week, and we actually rejected a lot of candidates because they were actually just belting out very, very theoretical answers and not being authentic selves, right? We rather chose someone who was authentic even if there were flaws, right? So this is at the first stage. If I looking at someone through an internship route, then I would be looking at something slightly different. And some of these traits would actually apply to experienced professionals as well. First thing that you look at is business acumen. Do you understand the industry that you are operating in? Second, functional acumen. Do you understand the function or the technical area that you are operating in? Third, as we covered earlier as well, the right attitude, basically humility with assertiveness. And fourth, I would like to bring in a tinge of Lominger competencies here, because those are actually very relevant in today's world, and Gen Z is going to face most of it. Ability to manage complexity and ability to manage ambiguity. Okay, now if you can make sense of the complexity and the ambiguity that is persistent in this entire world, you are going to thrive in your professional careers. So these are the things that I would look at. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving towards to the last question. What are the emerging HR trends that Gen Z needs to get accumulated or get accustomed?
So it is, as you look at HR trends, right, again it depends from industry to industry, organization to organization. And I'll tell you why. If you look at us as an organization, as IBM, we have moved away from a HR business partner for employees. You do not have a HR business partner for employees. They need a help. Yes, there is a COE that's sitting in. It's not anymore a designated stuff. So, but if you go to a product organization, you'll find a HR generalist doing end-to-end. So as you look at elements and trends, one of the other things, we are speaking about AI. Trust me, everybody is investing in it, but more about not developing AI, but using it to augment and bring in efficiencies. So, Vikas just touched upon business acumen, and that's something that we are extremely focused on, especially if professionals are going to come in. So I think the last time panelist, somebody had asked a question, what are you going to look when you're going to hire me and what you need to do? And the answer I think Ravi Shankar had given was to look at the preparedness when you go in. The same is expected when you're in an organization. If you're supporting a business, understand the business. If you're in the manufacturing industry, doesn't mean you understand entire manufacturing, but if you're on plant operations, what do they do is very important for you to understand. And technology is taking away a lot of stuff in terms of helping you, augmenting you, meaning you don't need to do analytics, you don't need to be great at Excel. The only thing I would ask everybody to build is a fact of understanding if the data that you throw out an AI, something will be given out as an answer. Are you able to fathom that answer to be right? Are you able to validate it's right? You have tools, tools will give you answers. But if you do not know the answer is right or wrong, assumption. So work on looking at it. And I know as we are closing out, I don't want to keep coming back. But one thing I will give as a feedback to each and every one of us, which includes us, the academia, as the students. Try to build mentorship for yourself. The people like Paras, people like us, who do these as a group, as individual, basically, when our time permits. And why do I say academia? As I have worked with colleges, I have worked with professors that helped me a lot in getting an understanding a lot of times. So it works both ways. So identify some mentors. This is what is going to further you, because somebody is there to give you some guidance, a sounding board. Don't look at somebody to tell you walk this path. That's not what we do. As mentors, look at somebody who will hear you out and give their point of view, which is different, that will help you move forward.
So for my understanding, you are asking the role,
the future HR trends that Gen Z needs to cope up with it.
My perspective and my way of thinking to some extent different. HR guy having two people. One hand is the job seeker, and another hand the reporting boss. Truly speaking, HR manager is not the ultimate decision maker to recruit a person. The reporting boss actual the decision maker whether I will select it or not. Now, HR guy should understand two things. One, whether this candidate having that pure mindset, as well as what type of work value he or she can create in my industry, work value. On the other hand, the reporting boss or the manager, so-called, HR manager also supposed to evaluate the manager's capability also. Whether this manager having that capability to nurture, to take care of this candidate, whether this manager can develop this candidate and fit for this industry, fit for this work culture. So now my request, my suggestion, my tips to HR manager for the future recruitment, he is not only the connecting these two peoples, he also judging and taking decision that what would be the maximum and the optimum utilization of these human resources. So that is my point.
See, when you're coming for an interview, like you prepare, I really agree either the HR manager or the reporting manager, whoever is taking the interview is also preparing well to take your interview. So that they ask you relevant questions based on competencies so that we can find out during the interview that whether you are fitting right or not. Another most important thing rightly said in this forum, like when you're doing internship, we look into a lot of things. So at the end of the internship, we have most of the time found out that there are a lot of potential candidates, but we are not able to hire them or we don't hire them. Why? Because there is a clear problem of attitude. There are a lot of candidates who are high potentials, they can do, but they won't do. I don't want candidates who can do but won't do. I want candidates who say, I don't know, but I will do it. I'll learn and do it. So that is very, very important because attitude plays a major role while deciding finally the candidate. So keep your attitude very positive. You should always have that can-do attitude because everything is possible. You all are very, very intelligent and today technology is helping us. Anything we want to know, technology is leveraging us to know sitting at our home. So take the leverage of it, be very positive, and this will take you a long run.
I think you asked the question on emerging HR trends. Right? Yeah. So few I would like to quote. Today's generation is really, I would say, blessed. I would use the word blessed because today organizations are creating more employee-centric policies which will enable people to work. So when you say employee-centric workplaces, one is flexibility in the work-life balances. I'm just giving the topic so that, when you say flexibility in work, they are giving a lot of hybrid working, work from home options and so on. When you talk about, humanized leaderships, right? They talk about more of empathy amongst the managers. I think we talked about it. When we talk about the leaders, the emerging trends in HR is we see that how the managers are, to handle Gen Z. So this was not in the past. There was no focus on the managers. It was more focus on the employees. So today, managers are also considered, leaders are also considered as employees and seen that how they are equipped to handle such a generation. So that is employee-centric more work. Second comes to the self-paced learning, right? Organizations have moved away from the classroom type of learning to say that, on-the-go learning. They are equipping the generations to be more digitally driven in learning practices. And you also give an option to pursue their passion. Just to quote, I think Prashant will be there in this crowd. Prashant from Prashant, yeah, you're there, yeah. So he's a good singer. He sings well, apart from doing his MBA, and he's from Bihar. And so I told him yesterday over a chat, I told him that please continue your passion. It's very important when you're working that you also have something to hold on, something more to look forward in other than the career. So passion, pursuing, so organizations are creating that platforms for people to do. And in HR, more on data, HR analytics, metaverse in HR, creating more experiences, experiential learnings are also few of the practices which are actually the emerging HR trends. HR is also more tech savvy, moving from paperless to more digitally driven onboarding experiences, providing and creating more inclusive work cultures are the few emerging trends in HR. If you ask me, more and more progressive work culture. If you have the passion and if you want to really pursue it in your career as well as balancing your life, I think organizations are prepared and forthcoming to actually provide it all. So today, these are the trends I could see where HR is turning the organization's demands according to the generations today. And we are not saying that, we will stick to one pattern. There's a lot of flexibility that's coming in.
Rightly said, ma'am. And that's why now it is termed as human resource business partner, which has changed a lot.
Hello. I'm not sure if this mic would work because band ho raha hai wo. Okay. So again, breaking the answer in two parts. Emerging HR trends, mostly, let's say, which are more relevant to the freshers. Hello? Yeah. Which are more relevant to the freshers. Let's first talk about that and then we talk about industry in general. First of all, the earlier trend for a fresher was we hire generalists. Folks who are going to face interviews, please listen to this carefully. Earlier trend was we hire generalists. The new trend is we hire generalists with one area of expertise. Right? So if I give you an example, when I was campus placed back in like 2008, TCS आती थी ट्रक भर के ले जाती थी. ठीक है? So, but today, I was just interacting with my younger cousin and he's been selected in Capgemini and they are assigning them functions from day one. There is no general training around it. Okay, so they are being given specific areas of technology from day one. So that's how industry is moving. Okay, they are looking for very specificity. Second, whatever technical or functional area that you are in, understand the core of it. I'll give you an example. A lot of areas or sub areas of your function can actually be outsourced or AI would eat it up. Look at the core of that function which the tech cannot take away from you. In a lot of places, coding would be taken up by AI, but probably a coding validation role can never be taken away by AI. So look at the trends in your functional areas where tech cannot take away your job. Third, engage, so a meaningful engagement with social media. So in terms of professional world, LinkedIn I think has come up big time. Today when I am hiring, I think LinkedIn is the primary source of hiring. No, Naukri no longer remains that. Even if I source someone from Naukri, I would still cross-check the profile on LinkedIn. So meaningful presence and utilization of social media. And of course, HR tech is there. So this is on the hiring side. In terms of practices, there are many. I mean, organizations are offering paternity leave. Organizations are offering leave sharing among employees. You can actually donate your leave to your colleague. Okay. Organizations are using, let's say, self-paced learning. Time off. So there are, a lot of Gen Z actually want a time off for themselves. They'll backpack and they'll go to the mountains. And organizations are actually responding to these needs very well. There are options for career breaks. There are options for meaningful career breaks. There are options for pursuing your passion. So yes, organizations are responding very well to the needs of Gen Z and with the evolving times. So yeah, these are some of the points that I wanted to bring upon.
Thank you to all the members. I think most of the panel members have already shared the most important things, and I'm being grateful enough to be the moderator for this panel too. So thank you to all the panel members. Now, if anyone has any questions from the audience, we are free to address your questions. Anyone? Hello, Padas.
What are your thoughts on that? Because we've taken a lot of examples from back then, 2008. But now, from a candidate perspective, I have an iPhone, I have a vehicle that, that I have charges to pay. So when I get a lot of messages like, I got the opportunity, but they're saying that this is unpaid. And that's kind of getting difficult for the candidates. So want to know thoughts from all of you. Second questions that I usually get from the people that I'm not getting job role as a fresher. I don't know what happened after the COVID. Trend changed, and a lot of people telling me that I don't know what happened, but I'm not getting calls from different organizations. So what are your thoughts on this? Thank you.
Sir.
Because there was reference of my discussion, so I'll take the first part. So, about unpaid or paid internship, if you can pay, you must pay. Okay, because the candidate might be moving cities, the candidate might be, of course there are expenses to be incurred when you are going to your workplace. So my point is, if you can pay as a corporate, you must pay, and you must pay well even in terms of internship, along with providing a great quality of work that you provide in your internship. That is first part. Unpaid internship with good quality of work is the second best option, jab corporates are crunched on cash. And then I would say prioritize learning rather than money. So this is my response to the first one. What was the second one?
Freshers don't
Less hiring for freshers. So again, touching upon some of the discussion points that I had, earlier the trend was hire more generalists, train them and get them into the workforce. Today corporates are kind of losing that patience. The industry is crunched that way. So you would rather look for a generalist with great learnability, with at least one area of expertise, related expertise of course. The person cannot have great expertise at a fresher level. But one niche area in which the person can be developed faster. That is, I think, where the trend is moving, and that's why you see lesser of generic hiring and more of specific hiring even at the fresher level. Would request other panelists to add to it.
Yeah, ma'am.
Paid and unpaid. Paid is just a month when they want to really come for an exposure when they are on a summer holidays. But predominantly, if it is more than 6 months and they are working on a real-time project, it is a paid internship. This is my take on paid and unpaid. When it comes to the second question of hiring freshers, slowing down of hiring or non-availability or they're not getting jobs, all of us should understand it's market-driven. Yeah, it's market-driven. If the market is really good, then the hiring is really a buzz, right? And predominantly, like I would agree with Vikas, what they're saying, it depends on industries. GCCs, IT is a boom, automotive is a little bit dull, so there is a kind of ups and downs in the hiring. But one constant thing is, nowadays, the hiring starts even before the campus. So in the 7th semester itself, they start to train the employees and deploy them. So when it comes to hiring of freshers, it matters a lot on what their capabilities and adjacencies they have developed during their course of education. Today students take up a lot of courses in be it Coursera, they get into boot camps. They are very much prepared to give up interviews, which has an edge over the other students who come into the way. So that is my answer. Yeah.
Paras, first and foremost, they do not afford an iPhone, they do not pay the bills, the parents do. Okay? So, I'm sure they get paid even during the internship for their fund. But that's on a jokes aside, right? I believe paid internship is the way that we operate. It is not fair on us to get somebody. If I have somebody from Guwahati and I want the person to come to Bangalore and do an internship, there is no way am I going to say, do it on your own cost? It will not have the person's full attention during the internship, which is what we are looking for. One. But when you're working on projects, yes, those, if you can call it internship because it might be for a period of 2 months, but when you're working there, we really don't need the physical presence as much. If you are coming on your own, coming back and visiting the offices, great. But from a project perspective, I think there is huge space for us not to go ahead and pay for those because it's projects that you are working on and we are helping you out. So the other way around, we tend not to pay, right? To the second question that you had, and I'm seeing a lot of calls, just like you, LinkedIn, I'm a fresher. But what I've realized is, this is the same person asking me the job for the past 2 years, saying I'm a fresher. Many a times, because people who are getting placed well ahead on the curve, and campus interviews are the way, the internships are the way that people, the cream de la cream is already going in. People who are left out are the freshers who are saying, I don't have it. Now, again, I went back to my previous point that I mentioned. You having a mentorship, you're getting that exposure and experience, and it opens a lot of network for you that you can leverage. And you need to understand, you need to build a relationship, because somebody coming back and saying, I'm a fresher, please help, that's a ton of people. I do not know you. I'm just not going to keep referring, because when I refer, it holds a weightage because I know somebody and I'm going to refer. So it's important for you to build that relationship and try to get ahead in the curve. Otherwise, you're going to be left behind. And the reduction definitely is there. Like she said, Anita said, it's market driven. So market is tight. AI is coming in, and AI's job is augmenting. It's going to take away the monotonous role. And where is the monotonous role? Your entry level. So people are going to look at training you, to Vikas's point on specializations, where I can put you on. So we will need to work on that as students to bring up curve.
Hello. I'm giving answer in a defined way. It is a simple equation. Paid or unpaid. I'm giving an answer, yes and no. There are two types of industry. One industry will use you during the intensive. Means you come, you do the job, and you learn. And you ask for I give me payment. I'm okay. But there are another industries also there. I'm just recalling, Imami is there. I work there. The managing director of Imami having only one principle and the vision. So transform this industry as a learning institute. So if you are getting that type of opportunity to utilize your potential, then say, okay, if it is also unpaid, I am okay. So that is my answer. So it is your choice. And it is you also, it may be say how you are lucky. That is also one point. Thank you.
I hope, Paras, your question has been answered. Any more questions? Oh, I can see a lot of hands.
We would like to go with only one last question, if you can. Okay.
Maybe one question, yes.
Yeah, one last question.
Okay, two questions.
A very good afternoon to the panel members and the audience here. I'm Yasmin from Assam Downtown University. I have a quick question for Vikas sir. So, first of all, I really appreciate the way you admire the Gen Z generation. And as you have already mentioned that you are related to Gen Z generation. So, my question is that, what is the biggest misconception people carry with them about Gen Z peoples in our workplace? Thank you, sir.
Wow, great question. I'd actually I like to jot my thoughts on my notepad, and I had actually jotted this down, okay? So the biggest misconceptions about Gen Z, they are entitled. Okay. Now, I would also clarify on that. So people think they are entitled, but we have to look at the social context. In our times, probably security, the job security or the social security was the biggest norm. Today, with greater economic growth in the country, today's generation probably does not need to worry about the basics, the hygiene. खाना तो खा ही लेंगे, मम्मी पापा ने इतना कर दिया है. So they are not entitled, they come with that context. So that has to be understood. Difficult to manage. So yeah, difficult to manage is a big misconception, but there is a different other side to this as well. I think the basics are very simple. If you understand Gen Z very well, then you will be able to manage them. And with more and more managers coming from Gen Z, or more and more managers coming with awareness of Gen Z, it will be a task. It will evolve with time, basically. They are not great at taking criticism. This one I kind of a bit agree, but it's okay. I mean, this generation is very straightforward, very honest, and very pragmatic. So they generally would call it out. But at the same time, please understand, you'll have to be humble enough to understand genuine feedback and learn from it. And then my favorite ones, they are not disciplined. Okay, my take on that is their definition of discipline is different. Another misconception is they don't work hard. My take is their definition of working hard is very different. So probably they'll put in their heart and soul in those 8 and 9 hours, but then don't bother me after that. And I kind of agree with this definition, the newer one. And similarly on the discipline part as well, their definition of discipline has to be understood, right? So someone in the earlier generation, someone who does not turn up on time, he's not the right kind of person. But today's generation, it is very different. The person might actually be a gig worker. The person might actually be working in night for a different project. The person might be doing different 100 things. Is the person able to deliver on what you're looking at? If you are talking about that, they'll be much more happy rather than looking at the constrained concepts of timing, punch in and punch out. So these are some of the misconceptions, and I believe this is the way they must be dealt with. Thank you.
Thank you to our all esteemed panelists for an engaging and insightful discussion. Your expertise and perspective have truly enriched our Gen Z students who are sitting here, and I can see their enlightened faces, how they are taking all the concepts. And for me, being here with you all also gives me lots of knowledge how to deal with our students. Thank you so much. Now, I request our VC sir to please come on the stage and felicitate our panel speakers. Start recording. Now moving towards the most awaited ceremony of HR Awards 2024, celebrating excellence in human resource management. We are privileged to have with us our esteemed judges, Mr. Dipanjal Kaur and Mr. Indra Jeswe, whose expertise and visions will guide this event. May I now take the privilege to introduce Mr. Dipanjal. He is the head human resource, Assam Cancer Care Foundation. Mr. Dipankar brings with him over 22 years of extensive HR experience. An award-winning HR leader and founder of the NHRD Assam chapter, Dipanjal is celebrated for his contribution to advancing HR professions. May I now request sir to please come on the stage. Request all to please invite him on the stage with a big round of applause. Please join me to welcome our next judge, Mr. Indra. Mr. Indra brings over 24 years of rich experience in human resource in industries like telecom, retail, and manufacturing. Currently, he serves as the state HR head Northeast at Reliance Jio Infocom Limited based in Guwahati. His previous role includes leadership positions at Star Cement, Planet M Retail, the Mobile Store, the Lifestyle International, showcasing his expertise in strategic HR management and employee engagement. Recognized for his contribution, he has received the most prestigious ET Now Talent HR Leadership Award as one of India's 40 most talented HR leaders. May I now welcome sir on the stage with a big round of applause. May I now request Rimjim ma'am and Monica ma'am to come and felicitate our esteemed guest. Thank you, ma'am. I would now request the judges to kindly take forward the event and share with us the selection process and announce the winners.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. Before I start, I would like to thank the team at Assam Downtown University for giving us this opportunity. Rimjim, thank you for coordinating with us for almost everything, right from giving us the status of applications received to sending us the profiles, coordinating with the applicants for the interaction with us, so on and so forth. I would also like to take this opportunity to register my sincere compliments to Assam Downtown University for organizing such a wonderful HR conclave in this part of the country. Compliments to you. It is a great privilege to stand here before you today while we celebrate excellence in human resource. We gather here not just to recognize outstanding achievements, but to honor the vital role that HR plays in shaping organization and nurturing people. Each applicant represents a commitment to excellence, a passion for people, and an unwavering dedication to success of their respective organizations. The story we noticed while going through the profiles reflect remarkable initiatives, transformative policy changes, and a profound impact on the workplace. And it takes me back a couple of years. I saw it put up somewhere on wall of one of the offices, which said, HR is the most difficult profession that looks easy. And after having worked for 22 years in HR and in multiple organizations, I cannot but agree to it in totality. Now about the process, instead of reinventing the wheel, we adopted a tried and tested method. We had received a total of about 43 applications for both the categories, that is HR Leader Award and HR Rising Star of any award. We first reviewed all the applications and questionnaires that were received by us to check for availability of relevant data that could be pulled out for evaluating the candidates. Then we created the scoring framework on different criteria set for the objective part of it. Third, we scored the candidates on the basis of the scoring framework. And fourth, we pulled out the first 50% shortlist of candidates on the basis of scores. Then between both of us, we again individually scored the candidates and checked on cumulative scores, discussed each applicant and selected 8 candidates for an online interaction. We then interacted with the applicants and ranked the candidates on the basis of the interaction where they showcased the work that they have done, where the boundary was not just limited to their scope of responsibility, but contribution to the society as well. So that's how we've evaluated the entire category of people who were there, right? Now, I would Inder Jesse to share his experience, and then we can probably announce the winners.
Hi, thank you, Dipanjan, and good afternoon, everybody, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed colleagues, and honored guests. So first of all, I would like to thank Assam Downtown University for organizing such a wonderful event. And it was, I could see if I recall the experience interacting with the candidates and all, it was amazing. The number of participants, whatever numbers we had, it was wonderful candidates we have received. And as one thing I can say, as judges, we have had the opportunity, privilege, interacting all those talented candidates, not only to experience their performance or the number of years of experience, but also their talent, their potential to drive the change, bring in their organization wherever they are working. It was amazing to see their passion, because while interacting with the participants, we have learned a lot of things from them. The kind of initiative they have taken in their industry, the kind of learning we have received. We thought while interacting with this candidate, Dipanjan and myself were thinking, we can implement a lot of such practices amongst us also, and even in the university also we can have. So it was an overall very learning session. So finally, I would like to thank everybody who are present here. Thank you so much.
So going back to the award, the HR Leader Award goes to Mr. Ashish Banka.
That's actually a great honor. Mr. Ashish had got this award. However, right now he is not with us, so we would like to just play a clip. On his behalf, he has sent us this clip.
Good afternoon, everybody. I am Ashish Banka, Head HR of Redefining. I am very grateful to Assam Downtown University for presenting me the HR Leader Award. This has been a very fair process, and I really enjoyed the entire experience out of it. I got the news yesterday. It was very difficult to travel from Pune to Guwahati, but I am very happy to receive this award and give my contribution to the HR fraternity. Thankful to all the judges for choosing me for this award, and I look forward to contribute to the fraternity as always. Thank you, everybody, and look forward to meet you very soon. Thank you.
The HR Rising Star of Northeast goes to Ms. Mridakshi Talukdar.
Here comes our rising star with a big round of applause. Please welcome Mridakshi Talukdar. May I now request Jyotishman Datta sir to come on the stage to give the award. This is a moment of pride. This is a moment to show. This is a moment to applause. We want HR wants to be here with her. So please give a big round of applause once and again. Thank you. We would like to hear from you, ma'am. A few words.
A very good afternoon, everyone. First of all, thank you, Assam Downtown University, for organizing such an, I would say, inspirational event. And thank you, judges, for giving me this award. I'm really, really grateful to everyone. Yesterday, actually, I was traveling from Tawang to Bomdila when I got the mail from Kiranjit, who it was a mail that I was shortlisted, and I was just passing through Sela Tunnel where I had to tell my parents, please stop the car, I have an interview. And he was like, what interview? And then we somehow passed the Sela Tunnel, and then amidst the beautiful Arunachal Pradesh, I was giving my interview. So sir might remember, I was shivering and I was giving the interview, and then my phone, suddenly the network again got off. And the next call I got was that I won the award, and I can just say that I'm so grateful, especially to my mentors. They are not here, Dhananjay Mazumdar, Bandana Sharma, and Langdon Rajkwa. These three people have believed in me, and they have groomed me to be this far. And of course, Gajanan Nayak, he is also not here today, but I'm really, really grateful to everyone. Thank you so much.
Talukda ma'am, we are really grateful, and I believe that Mariko is blessed to be with you. Thank you so much. Moving forward, I would like to request our panelist discussion number 1 to come to the stage for a special recognition. We call it Pride of Assam, Ahomor Gaurav. Onugrah kori hokolo stage ole ahibo. May I now request VC sir to please come on the stage. Thank you. I request all of you to please stay here for a few seconds. May I now request the resource persons for panelist 2. Sir, VC sir, please. Yes. Now we request all the resource person from the panelist 2 to be on the stage. May I now request our esteemed judges to please join us. Request you all to please come forward for a group photograph. And request all the people here to please give a big round of applause, because without them this would have never been possible. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Now, I would like to request Rimjim Ma'am, Associate Director in charge, Director of Career Advancement, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, everyone. As we conclude HR Conclave 4.0, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to all of you for making this event a success. We are proud that Assam Downtown University initiated this conclave 3 years ago, the first of its kind in Northeast. Each year we strive for excellence, and it's good to see the growing enthusiasm and participation, reaffirming our commitment to fostering dialogue and innovation in HR. A special congratulations to the winners of the Excellence Awards. These awards, which were introduced just last year, have seen a remarkable growth in the number of participants this year. We are thrilled with the overwhelming response and the caliber of the talent we have witnessed. Our intention in organizing these awards is to create a platform that recognizes and honors the exceptional contributions of HR professionals. And it's great to see this vision coming true. Thank you to our esteemed panel speakers for their insightful sessions, and to all our guests for your valuable time and support. Your presence has truly enriched this event. I also want to thank the management of Assam Downtown University, my team, and the entire editorial for unwavering support in making this event possible. Once again, thank you all for your participation. We look forward to seeing you at future editions of HR Conclave. Thank you. Please join us for a networking lunch. Please.
Thank you so much. As we come to the closure of HR Conclave 4.0, we'd like to end this session with the glimpses of Assam Downtown University editorials. Let's see what we are.
This is my first time in this National HR Conclave. I'm really glad to be a part of this. And I really think that this kind of initiative that Assam Downtown University has taken to bring all the talent acquisition people related to that to come up together and share their views and experiences and what are the requirements we should try to imbibe in our HR life. So it's really a great initiative, I think, and I hope to be a part of this in future.
HR Conclave. It means a lot for each one of us. It is one of the most prestigious events, and we look forward year and year again. I, Varsha Patwari, on behalf of Assam Downtown University, signing off now until we meet next in HR Conclave 5.0. And this calls for a big round of applause for a mega success. Request you all for a networking lunch. Thank you so much.